Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the last two rounds. With this week at Silverstone and next week at the Brands Hatch GP circuit. This is the Nxtgen Btcc Racing Series. I'm your director and your commentator, and in the officials is Mark Sykes. He's back off his holiday. He's sunning himself in Tenerife. There's the Silverstone circuit. It is the national circuit. That's the smaller of the two circuits. Ignore the bits at the bottom. Potentially it's had a bit of a wobbly, but that's where we are tonight. Right, if you're just joining us and you're thinking, how's it going to stack up? Well, we've got around 10 minutes remaining of the practice session. That will then take us into qualifying. Qualifying is 15 minutes. After those 15 minutes, that will be race 1. From race 1, the finishing positions start the grid for race 2. Reverse grid for race 3. 1 to 6 automatic reverse. 7 to 12 is done live on stream, so stick around for that. Right, let's get down to the business of the championship. Lloyd Biddulph is currently leading 361 points. Effectively, Lloyd Biddulph just has to finish ahead of Andre Romy and Alberti this time out, and I suspect he will do the deed and get the job done. Romy is second, Alberti's third on 264. Dario, he is fourth on 172 by Robert on 164. Massimo is 6th on 163. Mordini is 157 in 7th. Daniele is 8th on 153. Alan Axe on 9th on 149. And Jamie Dorey is 130 in 10th position. In 11th is Benny Norton on 125. Michael Clough is 12th. Marco is 13th. Junior is 14th. Fraser Rostance is 15th. Carlo is 16th, Phil Garside is 17th, Lee Horn, Anton and Poddy Flack down in 20th. Marcus 21st, Andre 22nd, and then a bunch of people who haven't turned up. Essentially, you can save it and pause it and go back if there's somebody there you're interested in, but essentially, yeah, that's how it stacks up for tonight. At this stage of the championship, with only 2 left, it's going to be very, very tight as it gets through towards the end. We do run ballast in the championship, and that we run it as per touring car. So it means that if you are running in first, you have 75 kilos on board, which is going to cause a major issue. At the moment, Phil Garside is currently fastest of the 8 drivers in. He's setting a time there. He's purple in Sector 1 and purple in Sector 2. And he's just gone purple Sector 3. 58.87 seconds is his best lap time. It's roughly going to be about 22 laps in the race tonight. All drivers on medium tyres, they do have to select what tyre, when they're going to run the soft tyre in what race. Weather is dry as well, so I'm not expecting anything to be that uninteresting. Lloyd currently running around in third, championship leader, multiple race winner at the moment. He's chasing Romy. I am expecting this to be a a rear wheel drive circuit. I'd expect rear wheel drives to take both first, second, and third, depending on how many drivers we get, plus take race victories in 1, 2, and 3. Silverstone's just the type of circuit it is. It is a rear-wheel drive palace if you can get the car to work properly and hook it up. It's all default setups. There are no setups that they can run themselves. It's basically default setups that we run, which makes it a little bit easier. Phil Garside, he is currently in the pits, so he's stopped. Stu Neal's gone fastest at the moment on a 58.868. There's Phil Garside. He has been teetering on the place of a victory for a very long time this season. He just hasn't been able to convert it so far. He was close at Thruxton, and in those last 10 minutes, just stuck. I have no idea who Your Name BMW is, but there we go. It's somebody in a rocket. It might pop up. I have no idea. But that driver's just called Your Name. So they'll be shortened to YM. First livery actually I've seen of the Rocket BMW, so that's quite a nice, interesting livery, something new. But again, it's going to be the BMW, which I think is going to be top of the tree. Lloyd Biddulph's down in 4th position at the moment. Another driver will pop in. That's what happens every time it stalls. It's not the game falling over. It effectively just stalls and stops the game. That's what happens. And that's how you can change the track side. I learn something new every day. There we go. There's Phil Garside. He's currently going out at the moment. Put it on a different button. He loves that helicopter view. Just loves the helicopter view. Do I think he's going to get pole position? I don't know. I really don't know. The problem is that on numerous occasions he has been teetering and knocking on the door, but he just hasn't been able to get on there. Time and time again, it's been very, very tricky. Race control coming in, just saying that the server might be reloaded again, so if it drops off, it's not because the game we've crashed or stopped, it's because server has to be reloaded. Race Room is a very pernickety game. It's very touchy, very tricky. It's not like, sorry, not Race Room, R-Factor 2. And at the moment, they're just trying to get content out rather than fixing some of the bugs. It's a shame, really, but that's R-Factor 2 for you. It offers you more than you get with Race Room in terms of games and schedules, but the cost you pay is that it is basically a very, very buggy system. And there's not a lot you can do about it, really. Derek Neal's just stepped in. Your Name is running around. Let's see what Your Name does in the BMW. Very interested to see what Your Name does. Coming out onto that first line, going through the Brooklands and the Luffield section. That takes us then into Woodcote. I just don't know who No Name is. Well, Your Name BMW. So they've obviously not filled in their details. They've just jumped in this time out, but they are in the Hill BMW. And that might be the server gone. No, that's Jamie Dory's now joining. So Dory's just popped in, Dory's just popped out. So there we go. Let's see what No Name could do. Currently on a lap, looking in first sector. At the moment, it's a 13.644. That is Phil Garside. And he's gone fastest in sector 2 as well, 17.403. At the moment, the question is, what can Phil Garside do as he crosses the line? And he goes fastest at 58.683. 0.2 of a second faster. But he isn't faster in sector 3. Stu Neal is fastest in sector 3 on a 27.606. So there is, there is no more time to be had, really. There's a yellow in sector 3 at the moment. It is car 8, which is Your Name has gone off the road. So Your Name is currently, where's Your Name? That's Rodrigo, Portugal. There's No Name at the moment. No Name has gone green in sector 1, green in sector 2. 32.043, sector 2, 13. We'll probably put mid-table at this current rate. Crosses the line, stays 8th. That sector 3 lap disallowed, stays 8th. Doesn't do anything special from that sector. At the moment, Phil Garside is fastest. Rodrigo Portugal is into 8th position at the moment. Again, not really going fast, but Rodrigo has been learning R-Factor 2 recently. I've seen a lot of the communications and chats, so I know that he's just getting used to it, getting used to the game, getting used to how to drive the cars. It is very, very different. Watching Phil's side again, going on board now with Phil's side as we go down the as we go down the Wellington Straight. And he's got purple sector 1 again, 13.602. He's extended his lead in sector 1. He needs a 17.445 in this sector. Dario in 3rd has just gone green in sector 1 as well. He doesn't do anything special in sector 2, 17.462 in sector 2. All that time he made up in sector 1 has now been lost in sector 2. Question is, can he get himself any further or any further forward? He does go faster, but not fastest. 58.629, a little bit faster, but near as enough makes no difference, to be perfectly honest. He's not really going to push himself or push anybody ahead with that type of time, as it stands at the moment. Everyone's in the pits, Barfield, Garside, Bonio, Massimo and Romy, and Your Name at the moment. So Your Name as it stands, what's Your Name doing at the moment? He's 3/10 off in Sector 2 at this current rate. He'll put himself into top 4. Question is, can Your Name get himself into top 4 as he comes through onto the Hamilton Straight? Rounds the final corner, building up time. He's looking for a 58.6, get himself 1 minute. He lost a whole hope of time in Sector 2. Absolutely loads of time in Sector 2 and Sector 3. All in the pits at the moment. Phil Garside's currently still out. I think the game might have had a complete reset because I can't see Phil. Yeah, they've reset the server, which, as you would expect, is one of those things that does happen. But Phil Garside was the driver to beat within that. He was mighty fast in those final sectors. The question is he going to convert that into a pole position? They've reloaded the server again, so we're back into practice. I suspect we've had some issues trying to get in. Yeah, so that's why they've reloaded the server. So that's why we're now back where we started. So everyone's going to jump back in, see what we get, and we will go from there. 58 is a very, very short time. That's a very, very good sector time. The question is, are we going to see that all the way through, or are we going to see a quicker time? Because what we don't know is what the drivers are actually on in terms of their fuels, in terms of their setups, in terms of if they have tweaked any of the setups they are allowed, because they can tweak tyre pressures. It makes very little difference. They can tweak fuel loads as well. Will it make that much of a difference? I don't know. I think when we get into qualifying, that's when we're going to really see. They'll go put banker laps in. With a 15-minute qualifying, we're going to stick on here with Massimo. With a 15-minute qualifying, it's going to be very, very tricky, I think, on what they can do. It's going to be very, very tricky because they're going to get at least one run, one full run, but do they go out with fuel, with loads of fuel? Do they go out with less fuel? There's all these different variables that they have to take into consideration. Weather isn't going to be a factor today. It's just going to be sunny all the way through, which is good. We've had a lot of wet races this season. Thruxton was wet, Donington was wet, Brands was wet, and that really did hinder some of those drivers that could have extended their lead, that could have had better results. But at the end of the day, when the checkered flag drops, it's whoever crosses the line first. And at the moment, that's Lloyd. Lloyd Bidoff is just the driver of choice. He's absolutely extracting the maximum out of that front-wheel drive car as it stands at the moment. As he comes around through Luffield, question is, as he goes down the Hamilton Straight, as he goes up to Copse, you know, he hasn't set a time yet, so he's carrying 75 kilo on board. His nearest championship rival, which is Romy, as it stands at the moment, he's in the pits. Romy just hasn't been able to convert the victories that we know he should have been able to do. He just hasn't been able to do that as it stands at the moment. Benny Norton's jumped in as well. So that's the problem Romy's had. It's just his consistency. He's just, because he's ended up in the middle of the pack, unfortunately, it's really hindered him going forward. And it's tough. It's tough. And Lloyd is just very, very fast. I've seen him race in other leagues, and he's just quick. He's just a very quick driver. But he's also very consistent. He pushes when he needs to, but when he can't get there, he doesn't seem to extend. He's just very clever with the car. Where's Phil Garside? Phil Garside's still in the pits at the moment, so he's not really moved. Michael Clough is currently out on track as well. So I think he's racing under the Trip 6 Motorsport banner now because he is one of the admins that are over there as well. So he is going to be wanting to do a lot. I think he's also... it's just very tough. It's very, very tough on who's going to win it, really. I still expect this to be a BMW-centric track. I mean, Massimo's currently gone second fastest. Lloyd Biddulph has just gone absolutely stonking in the first sector. He's put in a 13.744. It's not quick enough. Phil Garside was a 13.6 in the previous session. So I'd expect Phil Garside to... Is he out on track yet? No, Phil Garside's not on track yet. So, yeah, until we see Phil Garside, I'm not entirely sure we're going to see it. Your Name's up to third. I don't know who Your Name, No Name is, but Your Name is now into the 59.259s. Needs a 58. 58 is going to be the lap time. I'm expecting a 58.6 for qualifying, realistically. Do I think Lloyd's going to pop it? No, I don't. Purely because he's carrying the ballast on board. Phil Garside is unballasted as it stands at the moment. Alan Axon has now joined as well. So I'm expecting... Yeah, I'm just expecting... I don't expect Lloyd to be top of the tree. I go Phil Garside. We're watching Your No Name at the moment, but Your Name's a bit off kilter, a 2-1. It's still faster than I could drive the car, to be honest. I'd never get it anywhere near the end of the lap time under a sub 1 minute lap time. 59.871 won't be fast enough. Massimo. So Massimo through the season has been absolutely rapid, but Massimo just gets himself caught up in silly little incidents and accidents. He's faster than that. Andy Rooney, what a second. Wait a second, there is a... Yeah, there is. There is a driver called Your Name. So I suspect we've got a new driver this time out, driving the BMW, and Your Name, they haven't filled it in yet. So we've got a mystery driver driving around the racetrack. So yeah, 100% Andy Rooney. We have a mystery driver. So your odds-on bet on who it is as good as mine, because we've got no idea. Currently third fastest, though, on a 59.871. Do I think it's going to be fast enough? No, I don't. Is Phil Garside out? Yes. So Phil Garside was fastest in the previous practice session. Let's see what Phil Garside can do. Target times are 52.259. I'm expecting a 58.6 as fastest qualifying time. Your Name has left the building. So it'll be interesting to see if Your Name is going to come back in. And we'll find out who Your Name is. We're watching Phil Garside at the moment as he goes through Copse Corner, as he climbs up a little bit of a hill here to Maggots and Beckett's. This is the old national circuit. This is Maggots, takes you straight into the long right-hander of Beckett's, then takes us onto the Wellington Straight. Foot will be planted to the floor, all the way up to over 130 miles an hour as we come up under the bridge. Needs to keep this in. Sector 1 time, 13.728. Personal best, not good enough. 13.6 is what we need in Sector 1. He's backed off. Phil Garside there backing off. He's up in Sector 2, though. 1/10 of a second up in Sector 2. Can Phil Garside convert this now into a perfect lap time? Target times are 58. I'm still expecting a 58.6. Still expecting a 58.6. A 58.846. Goes fastest. But not fastest in Sector 1. Clough's got himself up into third. No, he's not fastest in Sector 1. Massimo is 13.630. So he could still, there is still time to be had at the moment. Personal best in here for Derek Neal. At the moment, Derek Neal is going a little bit faster. Target times are 58.846. I think he'll struggle to get that, if I'm honest. He's up in 7th position. I don't think he's going to be able to get really anywhere ahead of that. He's got Roger Portugal. Romi's down in 9th. Romy never does very well in qualifying. But maybe he's trying to pick his battle. Maybe he's trying to... I've always wondered if he's playing the long game or he's having his tea, because his qualifying positions never tally to his race pace. So I'm a bit intrigued to know why he does that, but with 2 races to go till the end, 2 sessions to go until the end of the season, I don't think we're going to find out, to be perfectly honest. I think it is what it is. Derek Neal 58, he'll cross the line probably in a 1 minute 1 minute 1. Yeah, 1 minute 1. Does not improve. Phil Garside has picked up speed in sector 1, 1/10 of a second up, and he's lost it all in sector 2. But at the current pace, if he keeps this up, he will potentially... He's got to go faster. He's got to go faster than that. He won't improve on his lap time. It is Andre. Is Andre's back? Is that the BMW? Yes, it is Andre. Andre's back in the BMW, which was one of Romy's teammates. So I think the teammates are come back with a vengeance. We've lost Robert. Robert was in originally, but he's now not here. And we've lost another driver. Question is, what can Phil Garside do? Is anyone else really improving? Dario is going a little bit faster. He's in the Honda. He's had good results through the season so far, but again, he's suffered generally in race 3. He's just got himself tangled up in some silly little skirmishes. So if he can sort that out, then I reckon he can sort. I reckon he'll be able to get himself into a much better position. The question is, can he do anything from here? I don't know. I really don't know. Again, this is just a practice session that we are currently in. Qualifying is going to be fast and fierce, I reckon. So it will be interesting to see if he can convert that. Yeah, no, he's not going any faster. Phil Garside has just decided to open the taps again. He's gone 0.05 of a second faster in sector 1 in practice. The question is, can he convert that in sector 2? No, 17.401 is the best, is a 17.577. He's losing time hand over fist in that second sector. He needs a teammate. He needs someone to drag him along through that sector, realistically. Other than that, I don't think he's going to be able to convert it. Will he extend his lead? He is mighty in sector 3. And has been all day. 58.6, yeah, that's what I'm expecting. I think it'll be there, unless he can get a toe in sector 2 as he goes off into the pits. Unless he can get a toe into sector 2, I don't think Phil Garside's we're going to get below a 58.6. Ballast, fuel, tyres, it all comes into play here. So it's going to be tricky, I think. They're going to have to really think about it. And tyre management is going to be a major, major issue through all of the races tonight. Because the front wheel drives will have the advantage in the opening half of the race. We've seen that time and time again through the season, is that the front wheel drives have the advantage in the first half of the race. They're able to drive away. But in the second half of the race, the BMWs, because of the update that R-Factor 2 did, it means that the BMWs in the second half of the race just have a much more of an advantage. They don't chew the tyres in the same way the front wheel drives do. And that's going to be a big factor here. That's going to play into the hands of the likes of Romy and Massimo and Andre that we're watching now. So yeah, it's going to be tricky, I think. And that's going to have to... They say we don't manage tyres in a touring car, but you're going to have to. You're going to have no option. The problem that's Lloyd Biddulph's going to have is that he doesn't at the moment really have any teammates around him. But we will see when the qualifying session begins. Alan Axon, I think he's rejoining again. I think he joined and left. He's back in it. He's got himself up into 5th position. And then he's jumped back in the pits again. Stu Neal, how's Stu Neal doing? He's currently in 2nd, 58. The problem Stu Neal has, and I've said it time and time again, and I'll say it time and time again, and I'll keep saying it, Stu Neal's issue isn't the fact that he's not a fast driver, because he is. He lacks consistency over the entire race distance. Can he win races? Yes, he can. Has he won a race here? No, he hasn't. Purely because when he gets to about the 15 minutes, it's very, very tricky. And he just loses it. He loses it in the last 5 minutes. And he has to work on that consistency. And I've seen it when he's played R Factor 2 in other leagues. I've seen it when he's done race room as well. He gets to he's mighty for the first 3 quarters of the race, and then something in his head just pops and it goes south. But it is what it is sometimes. Andy Rooney coming on saying can't drive TCR to same as me. That's why I'm in the commentary box. 100%. That's why I'm in the commentary box. They're very tricky cars to drive. Off to Alton to watch the BTC on Sunday though. Yeah, that should be a good race actually, and the Formula 1's on as well. So you got Formula 1 and the touring car both on Sunday, which is going to be absolutely brilliant. Brilliant Sunday's worth of racing, which is good. And the extended package on the BTCC is really, really good. It means there's absolutely plenty of stuff to watch. So I would recommend it. How's Phil Garside doing? So he's gone fastest in Sector 2, but he can't consistently do this. This is the problem that Phil has. Is he's the fastest sector? Whatever he's doing in Sector 1 to gain the advantage is costing him in Sector 2. Question is now, can he convert this? He's at a 58.6, and I just don't think realistically we're going to see a lap time below that. He's got a 58.9. No. He needs a tow in Sector 2. Down the Wellington Straight. He has to nip and tuck up behind somebody, get them to drag him along and take the advantage. Other than that, I don't think he's going to be able realistically to extend his lead, to extend that. So we'll see what happens when we get to qualifying, because qualifying is a completely different animal. But as it stands at the moment, it's going to be very, very tricky. Doug saying good luck with those with weight. It's going to be a tyre wrecker. Yeah, it is 100%. 100%. And this is where I think Lloyd's got enough raw talent and raw speed in the Hyundai that he should, providing he can get a good qualifying result. He's currently in the pits though. Providing he can get a good qualifying result, I think he can hang on to top 5 finish. And then when he shaves the ballast, which should happen in race 2, I think get himself probably another victory. He's been very clever through the season. He's been very good at managing the tyre degradation compared to the other front-wheel drives. Is it still a factor? 100% it's a factor. And realistically, I'm expecting this to be 3 BMW victories easily. I'm not expecting the front-wheel drives to hang on past the 11 to 12-minute mark. I think they'll blast down the Wellington Straight. The thing is as wide as a boat. So this particular point is where I'd be expecting that's where I'd be expecting. So it's going to be tricky. But then I have been proven wrong before, because at Donington when we ran the GP layout, if you cast your mind back, Doug, there was some discussion over whether we thought it would be rear-wheel drive dominance, but it was not. It was the front-wheel drives and that man there that did an absolutely fantastic job. And we saw the front-wheel drives in Stu Neal and Dario take absolutely great great positions. So it could change. It's all to play for realistically. The question is, are we going to see it now? The Phil Garside, and I believe that is Massimo. Once again, yeah, it's Massimo. Do I think Phil Garside's going to see a victory today? I don't know, because the problem Phil Garside has is that he's absolutely mighty across that one lap pace. He's brilliant. He's really fast. He's got consistency. The problem is he suffers from the same problem that Stu Neal suffers from, is that he just makes a mistake and off he goes. So we will see. So, where do I put my 50p? This is, it always comes down to where do I put my 50p. I do think my 50p for qualifying, once it gets underway, will be Phil Garside. He's been realistically consistent. He's about to extend his lead now as he crosses the line. He gets a 58.6. He just can't hook up the 3 sectors. But he's not the fastest in the 3 sectors. Sector 2 is 17.447. Yeah, Alan Axon has just gone mightily fast. And he holds sectors 1 and sector 2. But again, Alan Axon out at Brands Hatch. I think he literally ran the car out of fuel. Not Brands Hatch. Alan Axon at Donington GP was fast. He put in a fight. As I said then, he's an absolutely mighty one-lap qualifier. But the problem Alan Axon has is that he just can't keep that consistency through the race. So yeah, we'll see what they can do as they're all starting now just to jump into the pits. What's Benny Norton doing? Benny Norton was running a front-wheel drive. He's now in the rear-wheel drive BMW. Question is, what can the Pepperami boys do? Can he get himself into a top 5 finish this time out? He's currently qualified 5th. But again, consistency is his problem. He just needs to keep out of trouble. It's a wide track now, so I'm not expecting anything really untoward. So the reason for the extended wait on practice is that there's a couple of drivers that can't get in. So it looks like we will just have the 12 drivers tonight for the practice session. And then we will go into the qualifying. He's holding on to 5th at the moment. As it stands, Alan Axon, Phil Garside's back out on track. What's he doing here at the moment? He holds the fastest first sector time. So there is, Phil Garside's got a 13.543 in sector 1. Sector 2 and 3 are both Alan Axon. So there is a theoretical fastest lap of a 58.49. So there is a 58.4. So if you take Phil Garside's fastest first sector and add it to the fastest sector by Alan Axon in sectors 2 and 3, you can get yourself down to a 58.4. Do I think we'll see that? Probably not. We might do, you never know. But I can't really see that happening. I mean, that's an absolutely tall ask, if you ask me. But stranger things have happened tonight. You know, stranger things have happened. So we're still watching Phil Garside go around. I don't think he's going to do anything from there. Anyone improving? Yeah, we've got an improvement for Dario. It's currently 9 thousandths of a second faster in Sector 1. But again, do I think he's going to put it on pole? No. At this current rate, it depends on what he loses now in Sector 3. Could get top 5. Question is, he's 1/10 off through 1/10 up in Sector 2. What can he do from here? Can he get himself into top 5? No, stay safe. 59.029. He was 22 hundredths of a second off 5th place man Benny Norton. So Dario, again, he's gone fastest in Sector 1, but he's had a little helping hand there. He's had a little bit of a helping hand from Michael Clough. Question is, can he get himself any further? No, he's 2 tenths up in Sector 2. He hasn't done anything different. Alan Axon has gone personal best in Sector 1, and Phil Garside has extended his lead to a 58.3 at the moment. So Phil Garside has got a 58.3. Is that race pace? Nah, I don't think it is, but he's gone. Yeah, so he's 13.5 Sector 1, 17.3 Sector 2, and a 27.4 in Sector 3. And near as enough makes no difference. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be beaten. I really don't think that's going to be beaten. Tonight, where is championship leader? Oh, he's in the pits. His nearest rival is in the pits. How is Porsche doing? He's on his outlap. 58.3, I don't think he's going to beat that realistically. He was 1.9 seconds currently off the lead. But again, he's new to racing this type of R-Factor 2. Only last couple of, I think it's the last month or so in another league. And as a result, yeah, he's doing still better than I could drive the car. So we will see. He's done a 58.343. That's the time he's got to beat. We're going to see what he does on his outlap. Let's ride him on board now with Mr. Portugal. As he goes through Cops Corner here, and he's nice and tidy. He'll be building that up now. He'll be getting himself ready. He's gone a little bit wide there, so I think that's going to compromise him. But again, if he can get himself in top 7, that's a solid result for him. We've not really seen his pace so far. He is 1.9 seconds off, but again, he's learning the car, he's learning the tracks, and he's learning the game. It's a big jump up from when you drive from race room. And that's where he's predominantly honed his skills, and now he's in R-Factor 2. He's 5 tenths up. That current pace, that would put him in top 5. But it's the Sector 2 and Sector 3 times. That's what's costing people. Yeah, he's 8 tenths up. So at that current pace, top 8. He'd be top 8 on prediction with that type of time loss between each sector. Can he get a good drive? Puts himself into... Stays 11th. 1.3. So he has got himself a little bit closer, but nothing that really makes any real difference at the moment. Romy hasn't set a time. I'm not sure why he just hasn't set a time. Very unusual. Very, very unusual. How's Benny Norton doing? 9 tenths up in Sector 2. Yeah, that's an abandoned lap. That will be an abandoned lap. He won't carry that on as he goes down the Hamilton straight. He'll reset over again and go for another flying lap. Again, we don't know the fuel on board. Be interesting to see. As we now go round. So yeah, it's going to be tricky, I think, for the drivers. I think they're going to have to really think about this. They're going to have to... Tyres are going to be a huge problem here. And I can't see the front-wheel drives having the advantage that we saw at Thruxton, which was absolutely shocking considering that I thought it was going to be a rear-wheel drive walkaway. When we went to Knockhill, it was front-wheel drive all over again, but we don't have the changeable conditions. Benny Norton's run out of road and then ran out of talent. So that's going to be reset all over again. Derek Neal is out on track. Let's have a look. No, he isn't. He's back in the pits. Only 2 drivers still out at the moment. Michael Clough and Rodrigo Portugal got himself up to 9th, but realistically that's 10th because Romy hasn't set a lap time yet. And he hasn't set a lap time, so either he's keeping it in the back burner, but we will see. Alan Axon's rejoined again and reset his time up into 2nd. Do I think Alan Axon's going to win it? I would like to see him win it. I'd like to see another new winner, either in Phil Garside, Alan Axon or Stu Neal. I'd love to see one of those 3 win it. Do I think they're going to win it? No. Because it's consistency. It's the consistency over a race distance. It's that 15 minutes which is the issue. So, yeah, it will be tricky to see if they can convert that. Yep, 58.8 for Clough. He hasn't really done anything. There's not a lot still going on. Derek Neal's back out on track again, 1.6. He's changed to front. He's now in the Hyundai as well. Can he do anything from here? I don't think he can realistically. He's 1.6 second off, but again, he's learning. He is a father to Stu Neal, both father and son. They're not in the same team, oddly enough. That's probably a good thing. But he's 6/10 up in that sector. And then, yeah, he's overcooked in there. Oodles of understeer as you go through Brooklands and then into Luffield. Alan Axon is out, Cloughie's out, Norton's out, Stu Neal's back out though. So Stu Neal's back out on track. He's 1/10 up, doesn't improve. He's 6/10 up, and that's slower than his fastest lap time, which was 4/10 off fastest lap. So at the moment, Phil Garside holds all the aces. He's got best sector 1, best sector 2, and best of sector 3 as it stands at the moment. Question is, what can... I don't think he's going to do it. He's 1/10 up at the moment, so if he can keep this pace up, he'll go into 2nd provisional position for the practice session. Goes through, what can he do from here? Stay 2nd. Just stay 2nd. He just doesn't have the speed. So yeah, he just hasn't got that. It's that consistency. But a 3rd place, a podium place, he would be happy with. But again, it's the consistency. It will be when we get to the 15-minute mark. Can he hold on to it? Can he hold the position? Because that's when he normally starts to lose positions and starts to make silly mistakes. So we're still waiting on 2 drivers. That's why we're still running around the practice session with 27 minutes to go at the moment. So we're waiting for those drivers to be able to jump in. Phil Garside, but Alan Axon's back on track. So let's keep an eye on Mr. Axon. See what he can do. I think it's going to be a 2-way battle for pole position. No, it isn't, because he's gone back in the pits. Alan McCain has joined, so we've got a couple of the drivers who are joining. And Jamie Dory's now in, so we should be going to qualifying momentarily. What's Dario doing? He's down to 6th. So Jamie Dory. So Alan McCain, not seen him race before. Another Hyundai i30. Jamie Dory, seen him race, expecting a lot of things from Mr. Dory. Anybody going faster? There is an improvement, and that is for Benny Norton. He's gone 13.581 in Sector 1, which is the second fastest time in Sector 1. His Sector 2 times of 31 point was no slouch either. Crosses the line, stays 5th, yeah, it doesn't go any faster. He's obviously lost the lap somewhere along the line, so that's cost him some time dearly. He's 1/100ths up in Sector 1. 13.573 in Sector 1. So he is near enough, makes no difference. If he can keep this pace up, 31.334. Sector 2 times 17.7, yeah, no. He might improve, but he lost all his time in Sector 2. All of his time is in Sector 2, and he's lost it all now. He's not going to go any faster. Alan Axon's going a bit quicker in Sector 1. He's done a 13.595, which isn't too shabby. Rodrigo Portugal has got himself into 12th as well, and he's abandoned the lap. So there could be some sandbagging going on here, because I don't think we've seen the true potential of all the drivers. What's Andre up to? See how Andre, which was formerly your name. Sector 1 time is 2/10 up. They're still not shabby on 2/10. Question is, can he convert this now? Can he maintain this pace? That's the issue. He's 4/10 up, so he's losing roughly 2/10 of a second per sector. He'd be 6/10. He may or may not change. He'd roughly be there or thereabouts. I don't think he's going to get a 58.3. I think that's unrealistic. And he's just gone in the pits. So Andre has just abandoned the lap. How is Michael Clough doing at the moment? So he's fourth fastest. Hasn't really converted it. 3/10 of a second up. So he hasn't really shown true pace yet, I don't think. Because what we don't know is if the drivers are running around with extra fuel on board just to get their race pace. And that's the bit we don't know. Because there could be mighty speed, but it's all being basically held up because they don't want to show what their actual race time is. He's 2/10. He's gained in Sector 2. Crosses the line, 59.1, stays 4th. Again, it's that Sector 2 time, so he gained in Sector 2. Sorry, Sector 3, he gained in he lost it all in Sector 1, basically. His Sector 1 time is effectively what cost him the lap time. So, 2/10 up again, so he is 1/10, and he's just gone into the grass. And now he's having a massive sim twitch. So we now move across to the qualifying session. It is a 15-minute qualifying session. My prediction is Phil Garside. That's where I'd put my 50p. realistically, we do already have some drivers on the road. That is, Alan Axon has decided to launch the car out the road and stop at the pit exit. Because you have to wait for the qualifying session to begin, which is 15 minutes. So Alan Axon will be the first driver out in qualifying. Question is he going to get himself into second position? He was second in practice behind Phil Garside and ahead of Stu Neal. So he's got to get a banker in here and then go for it, basically. He's got no other options. As we see, yellow in sector 2. Going off in the road is part number 1, which I think was Phil Garside. But we are watching Alan Axon at the moment as he sets the qualifying, his first qualifying lap time. They will, at best, I reckon, get around 9 full-on laps of qualifying. Question is, do they convert that, or do they use that to whatever to their advantage? He will have the benefit of being the first on track, but he has the disadvantage that he has no one to help him. So we will see. 13.6 sector 1, not good enough. Needs to be a 13.3. Anything else going far side? Where's Phil Garside? At the moment we are staying with Alan Axon. Stu Neal's gone fastest in sector 2. Benny Norton has got a 13.5. We're watching Alan Axon until we hit sector 2. He's done a 17.4, he's done a 17.5. Stu Neal's going fastest now. So Alan Axon will cross the line as fastest driver, but will he be fastest? I do not think so. Not at all. Stu Neal is going a little bit faster, but Stu Neal has had a little bit of a helping hand there from Jamie Dorey. So Stu Neal should put himself into provisional pole position. Alan Axon's a 58. 58.6, not good enough, not good enough. We saw a 58.3 from this man here, Phil Garside. He was 1/10 down in sector 1 and he was up in sector 2. Can Phil Garside get himself provisional pole position? No. He lost 1/10 of a sector in second of a sector. This man here is going faster. He is getting a helping hand here from Jamie Dorey. I don't know if Dorey's meant to be giving him a helping hand, but Dorey is certainly pulling him along, and that's allowed him to gain experience. But Jamie Dorey's on a flying lap, and that overspeed has cost Stu Neal potentially to extend ahead of Phil Garside. A 58.3 is what we're expecting. I'm expecting for qualifying. That's what I'm expecting to be the lap time. The question is he going to get himself any favours? No, he's not. 58.6 stays 58.6. Lloyd Biddulph has done a 58.5. This is why I said watch out for Lloyd. I reckon during qualifying he puts himself into practice sessions. Phil Garside is now setting some timing screens alight. 58.6 goes into second, but not as quick as Lloyd. Anyone else going faster on the board? Jamie Dorey is going a little bit faster. He was helping Stu Neal out. Stu Neal is currently in third position. And Jamie Dorey there is, no, he's 1.2 seconds. He went off the track. That's cost him. There's no name or your name in the background. He is the black Rocket Hill car. What can he do? I don't think he's going to do anything special from here. Massimo's in the pits. Massimo's got in the pits. Jamie Dorey's going to cross the line. We're following it as he goes across. Doesn't go any faster. Phil Garside is improving in sector 1 and sector 2. Can he get himself into provisional pole position? There's still 10 minutes of this qualifying session to go, so there is plenty more track time to be had. 58.4 goes provisional pole position. Puts himself, I think Lloyd is going to find that very, very difficult to beat. Andre Romy is going fastest. He's in the BMW. Gets himself into 5th position. He needs a good result here. He needs a good starting position. He has to basically use the advantage the BMW gives within this game, because at the moment he hasn't been able to benefit from that realistically in any shape or form over the last couple of events. So he needs to work on that. He's currently 1/10 up in Sector 1, riding on board with him now. No, he's let off the go-go pedal. I don't think we're going to really... Yeah, he's let off the go-go pedal there. So he's going to be slower in Sector 2. Yeah, 1.8 seconds. Makes no difference. Alan Axon was top 3. He's now 0.03 of a second off Phil Garside. That should put him in second. If he can keep this pace up, crosses the line, stays 5th. Stays 5th. How has he stayed 5th? Sector 3 time. He lost it all in Sector 3. Not good enough for him. Not good enough. Dario down in 8th. He's going a bit faster. He set a personal best. So did Andre in 7th. They have set personal bests as well. No, he's off the track. Nothing for him. Alan Axon, Trip 6 Motorsport is going a little bit quicker. The question is, as I've always said, can he convert this? The problem Alan's got is he's mightily fast across the one lap pace. But his issue is that 15-minute window, same as Stu Neal. That's what's cost him time. Can Alan get himself into front row position? Yes, he can. Second. 5.33. Again, not good enough. Lloyd Biddulph has just extended the lead to a 58.525. So Alan Axon had second position for all of about half a second. Stu Neal is now down in 5th position. He was the early pace setter, and it's just not materialised again. Again, he's not really converted that position as we would expect him to do. Question is, can he do anything from here? 13.622. No, he's down in Sector 1. He's down in Sector 1. Andre is going fastest in Sector 2. No, it's been disallowed. Lap was disallowed. But theoretical fastest lap. Yeah, it's a 458.3. 58.3 is the theoretical fastest lap. The question is, are we going to see that? I don't know. Because Phil Garside at the moment, current provisional pole sitter, has done a 13.518 in Sector 1, which is nowhere close to Sector 2 time. Stu Neal is the Sector 1 time. He has gone a little bit faster at 58.358. But do I think he's going to keep it? I don't know. I don't know. Alan Axon is now on a flying lap. He's been crouching on those times, lap after lap. He's only 0.05 of a second off in Sector... Yeah, the years off makes no difference. It's his Sector 3 time. There's yellow in Sector 1. It's Jamie Dory is off in Sector 1 at the moment, as he's blown his engine up again. No, he's not started again, so he's back on track. No, I don't think he's going to do anything here. He might pit Lloyd. Stu Neal's just gone second fastest at the moment, but again, wasn't really setting the timing screens alight. We're sticking with Alan Axon as it stands at the moment. He's done a 58.533. Can he extend this? Can he get himself in? No, 58.6. No, not good enough. Stu Neal's got himself into second position as it stands at the moment, but he's got it. Lloyd Biddulph. So just over 5 minutes remaining of this qualifying session. And Phil Garside is currently leading. He's on a 58.358, and I don't think that's going to be beaten. It'll be a very, very tall order for that to be beaten. Lloyd is going quickest in Sector 2, so he's up in Sector 2 by 0.04 of a second, but he's near enough makes no pace level. So if he can have a final good sector here, he can get himself a 58.3. Question is, can he convert that? Yeah, they go 58.303. Into first he goes. but Stu Neal is going fastest in Sector 1. Stu Neal holds the fastest in Sector 1, 13.4. He's 1/10 of a second faster than everybody. So there is a 58.2 now as a theoretical possible. Lloyd Biddulph is back on track. Yeah, there is a theoretical 58.2. But with 4 minutes to go, you're going to have to get out, do your lap, and have maybe 2-3 fast laps. So if you're not on track now, you're going to struggle. Massimo's got himself up to 9th, further down in the grid. Question is, what can Phil? Can Phil come back from this at the moment? I don't know. I just don't know. It's going to be a very tall order, I think, for him to be able to now achieve that. At the moment, Stu Neal's down in 3rd, 13.494, so he's up in Sector 1 at the moment, just by a hair's whisker. Question is, can he convert the Sector 2 time? Again, he's up in Sector 2. So, Stu Neal here could be on for his 2nd pole position of the season. But he hasn't been fast in Sector 3. He's lost over 0.2 of a second in Sector 3 historically tonight. Can he convert this? 56, 57.2. Yes, he does. He finally hooks up all 3 sectors to get a 58.2. But is it the fastest lap? No. There is a faster theoretical lap now. With that, I didn't think we would see the 58.3s, but we did. Then we saw the 58.2s, and I'm now theoretically showing that we can achieve a 58.1, which would be a biblical ask with the last 3 minutes remaining. But the only way I think we can achieve that is going to be with a tow. And if they don't have a tow, I don't think they're going to be able to get that. So as it stands at the moment, Stu Neal is on record for a pole. And I don't think Lloyd can do it, unless Lloyd's going to go for a hot lap now. I'm not seeing any real improvements across the board. Alan Axon's down in 4th. Benny Norton's on a bit of an improvement. We'll keep an eye on that as it unfolds. As it stands at the moment, it is pretty much stations all hold. We're watching Benny Norton. Lloyd Biddulph has just gone fastest in Sector, and he's gone to the pits. He was fastest in Sector 1, and he's gone to the pits. He'll get one more go at this, basically. Where's Phil Garside? Phil Garside is out, but he's not really done anything champion in Sector 1, no. He's a 10th off in Sector 1, but he has gone fastest in Sector 2 now. So he is on course. Could he get a 58.1? Could he be the first driver to dip into the 58.1s? We've got less than 200 metres till we get the cross finish line. Question is, yeah, 58.211, but no, he didn't. He's back on provisional pole position, but only by 4 thousandths of a second. So it's not a lot. And Benny Norton was fastest in Sector 1 by 0.8 of a second. 0.8 of a second. Has Benny Norton gone from one last-ditch attempt to try and get himself a provisional pole? He's going to have to really find 0.3 of a second in the final set. Not with a twitch like that, he's not. At this rate, he will put himself maybe 4th. Unless he's had a mighty Sector 3, crosses the line, 58.2. Third, he goes third. He lost it all in Sector 2. So he'll get one more. He's abandoned the lap. He's basically given up. Stu Neal is still out, but he's not really doing anything impressive. So qualifying is over. He will be classed as finished, and he will take second. Phil Garside takes another pole, and he drops into the 58.1s. The only driver in the 58.1s. We are seeing a slight improvement there for Mr. Dory. Question is, can Dory get himself a little bit further up the grid? He could now crosses the line, stays 9th. No improvements for him. And that's how it stacks up. Massimo is still out. I think he's still out trying to get himself. Nope. And they're all in the pits as it stands. So your results from qualifying for tonight is Phil Garside takes another pole position, followed by Stu Neal, followed by Benny Norton. Lloyd Biddulph is down in 4th. Alan Axon is 5th, and it's front-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive.
Attention grid, all non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
Andre Romy's in 6th, Clough is in 7th, Andre is in 8th, Jamie Dory's in 9th, and Dario is in 10th. Then we have Massimo in 11th, Derek Neal is in 12th, Portugal is in 13th, and Alan McCain is down in 14th position. Still all faster than I'd be able to do, which is not a hard thing considering I can't actually drive the car. So it's all to kick off for tonight. Are we going to see Phil Garside? Are we finally going to see Phil Garside take a win? He's been on pole position before. He's had the opportunity, but he just messes it up. Same as Stu Neal. He is a front runner, but it's that 15-minute window mark. That's what costs them time. That's what costs them the ability and the championship points that they so desperately crave. But we will see. We will see. It's 15 minutes till we start the qualifying, the warm-up lap. If you are just joining us tonight, welcome to the... Whoops. I've lost all of my screens. That was very helpful. If you are just joining us tonight, welcome to the Nxtgen Btcc Series Round 8. I'm your broadcaster and your commentator. We're coming from the Silverstone National Race Circuit tonight. It is not that length, it's whatever length it wants to be. And this is race 1. Your starting order for tonight's race is Phil Garside's in first, followed by Stu Neal. On the row 2 is Benny Norton and Lloyd Biddulph, championship leader, don't forget. On row 3, Alan Axon and Andre Romy. On row 4, we've got Michael Clough and Andre Torlasco. I'll just call him Andre. On row 5, we've got Jamie Dory and Dario. On row 6, we have Massimo and Derek Neal. On row 7, we've got Portugal Rodriguez and Alan McCain. And that's how it stacks up for tonight's racing. For race 1, there's going to be a lot of things to play for here. There's going to be a lot of things to manage. They're going to have to be very, very careful. Fuel consumption is high here. We don't know the fuel loads that are on board, but you, as I've seen on another one, you always put enough fuel in and one extra lap for the king, because you don't want to run out of fuel on the last lap. That's a big no. The question is Phil Garside going to get the perfect start? Is he going to be able to get away, or is he going to get himself in the tussle? He's really got to think about where he's going to place the car. The BMW of Benny Norton is going to have the advantage when it comes down to the straight. I'm trying to get a good camera angle. There we are from Stu Neal. No. There we go. That's a much better camera angle. So, Phil Garside is going to be starting on pole. Is he going to be leading into turn 1? Is Stu Neal going to be leading? It is 4 seconds to go for race 1 of the BTCC series. And it's lights out and away we go. And who has had the perfect start coming off the line? Lloyd Biddulph is already being under attack from Alan Axon. As they all go through the right-hand corner, they try to get themselves nice and neatly there. Holds onto it, and Phil Garside is already leading into turn 1 as we go in through the left-hander of Maggots, which takes us into the Beckett's corner. Oh, there's contact in the background. There's contact. We've already got a driver showing off into the distance. That is Michael Clough. He's sailed off into the distance. Benny Norton has lost out as well, and that's allowed Andrei Tulsa to come up into 4th position. As it stands, he's gained 4 positions in the opening lap. In the background there, you've got the massive gaggles of cars as we ride on board now with Jamie Dory. Just ahead of him is Andre Romy, who's lost 1 position. Through the right-hander we go. Needs to keep it nice and tidy as you come out of Luffield here. Needs to be no heroics as Jamie Dory is side by side with Andre Romy. He's going round the outside. Phil Garside is still leading by Stu Neal, by Lloyd Bidoff, followed by Andre Tulsa and Alan Axon. As we're riding on board now, the problem Alan Axon, well, I said the problem Alan Axon has got, he hasn't got any problems at the moment. He's absolutely attacking the driver ahead. A little lock up there from Andre going into the long right-hander of Beckett's. That will compromise his exit speed. But as you see now, riding on board with Alan Axon, he's right up the rear end. He's gaining and gaining and gaining and gaining and gaining, but he hasn't gained enough. At the front, Stu Neal is attacking Phil Garside. Phil Garside's made a little bit of a mistake. We'll keep an eye on that battle as it unfolds. But this is the extended battle in the middle of the pack. It is all to play for. It's a 4-way battle for 3rd position at the moment. Lloyd is struggling, but again, I think he's managing his tyres. We've seen it time and time again. At the back, Massimo is retired. Michael Clough is still going. He was the driver that was currently off the track, but we're back on board with Jamie Dory. Jamie Dory could get all the way up to 3rd. Jamie Dory's in the Astra. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's the 5th car in the row. There he is, riding on board of him now. Romy's down in 8th position, which is where he does not want to be. 17 minutes remaining of race 1. It's a 20-minute race, don't forget. The 10-minute mark, that's when I'm expecting the BMWs to really start to make progress. As Benny Norton now is attacking the back of Alan Axon. Don't forget, Alan started 5th, is in 5th, but Alan's issue is he's got a very fast-moving rear-wheel drives behind him. Is Alan part of the Trip 6 Motorsport team? Is he just being a blocker here? Is his whole job to make sure Lloyd can maximise as much of his points as possible? That's going to be the question. That's what we're going to see as this race develops. They're all running the medium tyre at the moment. Alan Axon, as you see, Jamie Dory has gone side by side with Benny Norton. Benny Norton is on the left. Is he going to go round the outside? Is he going to get this done? Into Beckett's, gets the car stopped and rotated. Absolutely sensational. But riding on board now with Benny Norton, he's going to get absolutely lovely toe from the car in front, and you can see Alan Axon hasn't really broken loose, and he's gaining, but he just can't gain enough. He's run out of road and time. He didn't get a good drive coming out of Beckett's, and that's really compromised him. Now as we go through into Luffield, this takes us down into the Hamilton Straight. He slides all over the back end there. His back end is fast and loose as he comes out of Luffield, and that's put him right back now into the clutches of Andre Romy. But we will leave that battle and rejoin the lead battle. So Phil Garside at the moment is battling with Stu Neal. I think these two are just helping each other out. I don't think there's no real reward in them fighting each other. I think they just need to work together and hold on to those positions and drag each other along basically for the opening laps. So unless Stu Neal has the opportunity to overtake him, I think he's just going to sit behind him. That's the clever move to do. That's the sensible thing to do. But we will see. Derek Neal, this is the battle down in 10th position. So Derek's up to his highest position so far this season. Alan McCain is also a DNF. So far we're down to 12 drivers at the moment, with 15 minutes remaining of this 20-minute race. Through the long right-hander of Luffield will go. Derek Neal is holding on to this just enough, but is he going to be able to do anything? We will find out over the course of a race 1. It's going to be very, very tricky for him, I think. because Dario has managed to now get himself up a little bit further ahead. Jamie Dory is right on the back of Alan Axon. Jamie Dory is on the car on your right. Alan Axon is the car now in the front of you, so on the left. The question is, as he goes through here, a little bit of lock up there from Benny Norton, and Romy just doesn't do very well with the ballast on board. It's really, really hurt him through this season. So the question is he going to be able to really hold on to it? There's Jamie Dory. He's attacking, riding on board now with Benny Norton. Jamie Dory's got a little bit wide there, but again, he's approached onto the back of Alan Axon, so he's right on the rear end there, going through Luffield. The question is now, as we come out of Luffield and go into Woodcote, is he going to be able to do anything? Is he going to be able to get it? He's gaining. He's looking left, he's looking right. Is he going to be able to sail it up the inside? He needs to be really careful here. He's gone for one of his best finishes this season, so he doesn't want to mess it up, doesn't want to send it into the drink, which there is no water, but if there was, that's where he'd be. He needs to be very careful here as he goes round the outside. Is he going to do the same move? Yeah, Alan Axon's a bit wily there. He saw that move coming and he went immediately to blocking, but he's right on the rear end now. Jamie Dory is as close as he says he's ever been. So he's gaining and gaining, but the problem he's got, Jamie Dory, is that it's front wheel drive versus front wheel drive. And the man behind, Benny Norton, which Alan Axon overtook only less than 7 minutes ago, is now fastest in Sector 2. Those rear wheel drives will now have been biding their time, and they're slowly closing the door. Phil Garside is leading by 0.6 of a second, as we see Jamie Dory going right round the outside of Alan Axon. They're going to have to take a brave pill going through Coppice doing this. Has he got the move done? He has before Coppice, but does he run wide? No, he doesn't. He gets the car rotated and stopped just enough. Sensational move, but Alan's coming back. Is he going to stove it up the inside? No, he doesn't. Down the gearbox, 5th, 5th, 4th, 3rd, into 2nd. Jamie Dory, he's not had a good exit. Jamie Dory's not had a good exit, so it's on all over again. Is Jamie Dory, is Alan Axon's side? No, he's not. It's game over. It's reset all over again. He's just had a much better drive coming out that corner, so he's held on to it. Michael Clough has got his hands full with Derek Neal just ahead. Derek Neal is just ahead of him, but Rodrigo Portugal is also closing the gap. A little bit of a squirm there, a little bit of a tail wiggle from the rear wheel drive Infinity. First time out for Rodrigo in the Next Gen Racing Series, so he's doing very well at the moment. He's got himself down into 11th position, but Romy in 8th position is attacking the back of Dario. He's got to get this done, because if he doesn't, at the moment, Romy is down 2 places. Lloyd Bidoff is up 1, but he's holding position. But Jamie Dory, I think, will catch him. Benny Norton's on the back of Alan Axon. We'll watch that as it unfolds. But we are watching the second man in the championship closing the gap, little by little, corner by corner. He's gaining and getting towards the man in front. And don't forget, that is Dario. They're not fighting each other for the same championship here. Romy is out of position. And I've always wondered, does Romy put himself in this position purely to shave ballast off in race 2? Is that how he's got to do it? I don't know. But if it is, the strategy just isn't working at the moment. He's really struggled in the second half of the season. He was absolutely mighty in the first half, but when we got to the second half of the season, Romy just hasn't been there. He just hasn't had that consistency. He hasn't had that pace. And that's really, really hurt him and really allowed Lloyd to get that huge amount of points that we expect. But it is what it is at the moment. Benny Norton is starting to close the gap, riding on board with him now. He's in 6th position. He is fighting the man ahead. And that is Alan Axon. He's in 5th position. Alan, again, is that 10-minute mark, which we are now 19 seconds off. This is where I'm expecting the BMWs to start taking and extracting the advantage of the tyre degradation of those front wheel drives. But Are we going to see that into a conversion? I don't know, because Benny just hasn't had that ability so far. He is pushing into Corpse. He's looking left. Can he get it up the inside? He's not going to go right through Corpse. He's got to keep this absolutely planted on the road. And then he's going to go through the maggots into Beckett's complex. He's got to try and send this up the inside. Or get a much better drive. He has to unsettle Alan, but Alan knows what he's doing. He's not so good in the bigger packs, but when it's one-on-one, he's very good. He's very good. So I'd expect him to do it. Romy in the background, he's attacking Dario as well. The gap is a bit bigger at 0.7 of a second as it holds on. But again, Benny Norton's issue is this final corner here. He struggles at left field. And that's where Alan just gains all of his time. And then he just can't get it back. Jamie Dory is challenging the back of Lloyd Biddulph. At the moment there is Lloyd. So at the moment there is an extended battle for third position. Lloyd, to get the feeling here with that 75 kilo on board, is just going to struggle. He's 4 seconds off Stu Neal, and Stu Neal is 2.4 seconds off Phil Garside. But it's that 15-minute mark. That's where we're going to have to watch the front-wheel drives. That's where we see Phil Garside and Stu Neal make those silly, stupid mistakes that cost them vital championship points. And Romy's not that far behind at third-place man. The question is, as we ride on board now with Jamie Dory, is he going to be able to get past Lloyd? I don't know. We just don't know, because Lloyd always seems to be, when he's carrying that ballast in the middle of the race, he just seems to be slower than everybody else, and then he just starts pumping in the lap times. So I think he's found a way to control the tyre degradation. And realistically, he's not fighting Alberti, because Alberti's not here. He's fighting Romy, and he just has to finish ahead of him on every race in order to get the maximum points. So realistically, he's not fighting Jamie Dory. So if he loses a place in the next 7 minutes, it's not going to really cost him. But Jamie Dory right behind, riding on board with him now. He's closest than he's ever been. He's now less than 0.2 of a second from taking that position from Lloyd. But it's this final through Luffield and into Woodcote. That's what causes Jamie Dory. That's where he's been losing. He's got a much tighter line out of Luffield. But you won't go 2 by 2 going into Coppice. You can, but you'll lose a whole heap of time. So he just needs to be really careful now. What he does, he just needs to keep it on the track. He knows he wants a podium position. He can sense that he's going to get third, but the problem is, in order to finish first you have to finish, and he can't afford a DNF. Or he can't afford to lose a load of positions, because the field is so tight at the moment. And as we approach the final 6 minutes of this race, you can see there, Lloyd Biddulph is weaving all over the track trying to defend. Jamie Dory's right on the rear end. But Jamie Dory isn't going to send it up the inside, because he can't afford to lose the position, because Alan Axon behind is that close that he would just get the position. Lloyd's got a much better line now. He's gone tighter into Luffield. That's compromised his exit speed. Riding on board again, this is the battle for 4th and 5th position. In 4th position, the man ahead is Lloyd Biddulph, championship leader no less. In 4th position is Jamie Dory. Not in a championship, but he is racing him. So they go through Coppice. Has he got a better line? Can he get the overlap? I think he's done it. He's going to surely keep his foot planted now and force Lloyd to run wide. And he does. Can he get the car stopped? Does Lloyd go for the old switcheroo here? I don't think he's going to have the drive. He's got 75 kilos on board. He did very well to hold on to that as long as he did. He will try and fight back, but I don't think there's any real recourse for him now. No, there isn't. It's going to be game over. So Jamie Dory now goes into 3rd position. He'll be absolutely ecstatic, but now he's there. He's got to keep it. And it's one thing passing a driver, it's another thing keeping that position. And Lloyd is a wily old fox. So now with 5 minutes to go, this is where I'm going to expect the rear wheel drives. And it's going to be where that man there, Stu Neal, can he hold on to that second position? Phil Garside is currently leading by 3.7 seconds at the moment, so he's going to have to do something absolutely heroic to change that position. Andre's down in the back. He's slowly catching Derek Neal. Derek Neal is down in 10th position. Andre is in 11th. He's lapping at a fairly decent speed at the moment, and he's pushing and pushing. Question is, can Andre in 11th attack Derek Neal in 10th? Derek is holding on to that position as best as he can. Back to the battle at the front of the grid. Alan Axon has now closed the gap to less than 0.4 of a second to the man ahead. Jamie Dory hasn't broken away yet, so Jamie Dory is only holding station at 0.5 of a second from Lloyd Bidoff in 4th position. So it is still all to play for. The question is now, as we go through Coppice, can Alan Axon get that gap any quicker? Can he get it any smaller? Andre Romy is also on the back of Dario. We're keeping an eye on that as it develops. You can see that he's slowly making progress in the background. The question is, can he convert that? That's going to be the key. At the moment, Romy is a little bit closer, but Michael Clough is slowly but surely getting closer and closer to the lot of them. Question is he going to be able to do anything here? Is Romy going to be able to get that position from Dario? He needs to really do that if he wants to keep his championship alive here, because at the moment nobody is really pushing Lloyd. Alan Axon has dropped back now to 0.6 of a second behind, as near as us makes no difference. Phil Garside is leading by 4 seconds. Romy is going for it now. He's near as us, so close, but he can smell the exhaust fumes as we go through Coppice here. This is 102 mile an hour corner. It was famous for major crashes during the touring car era. There's the helicam just ahead. There's another helicam over there. Through the left hand, through Maggots, through Beckett. Gets a much better line, and he's closed the gap now to 0.3 of a second. Alan Axon also is on the back of Lloyd Bidoff as well, but he's going to have to sell him a dummy if he wants to get him past. I'm keeping an eye on the Romy and Dario Rafati on the Dario battle in 7th and 8th. That's not really gapped any different. Alan Axon is within tasting difference of a top 4 finish. The question is, can he convert this now? Can he get himself ahead? He's got 2 minutes remaining, and with a 59-second lap, they're going to have 3 laps, including the one that they're currently on, to be able to do it. Question is he going to be able to do it quick enough? He's 0.4 of a second up now. He's getting closer. Michael Clough is on the back of Dario Rafiti. Dario Rafiti there. I might have made a mistake, but that's allowed Andre Romy to get through into 7th. And Dario Rafiti is now down in 9th position. I think he had an accident on by himself there, and that's cost Dario Rafiti dearly. Romy is up now 1 place. He's only 1 place. He started 6th, and he's now in 7th. You get the feeling here that he's just going to lose out to Michael Clough. Michael Clough is 0.6 of a second behind as we ride on board with him now. He's in 8th position, don't forget. 7th position ahead, that is Andre Romy. Is Romy going to be able to get that position? Is he going to be able to hold that position in the final stages of this race? It's 2 laps, including the one that the leader is on. I haven't followed the leader because I want Phil Garside to win. He's been so close for the whole of the season that I'm not following him because I'm not going to curse him. So I will follow him into the last corner, and we will see what happens. Michael Clough, that's kind of fizzled out now. He hasn't really pushed it. We'll go to our leader. Yeah, he's basically half a length ahead of the leader at the moment. So he's 5 seconds ahead of the leading of the nearest car behind him, which would be Stu Neal. At the moment, everyone else is kind of holding station. Alan Axon down in 5th position. He's attacking Lloyd in 5th, but he hasn't really managed to get that gap because he doesn't get a good drive coming out of Luffield. As the leader will now start the final lap, and he's doing 58.549. And Benny Norton has closed the gap, but I think it's going to be game over for the final lap. We'll stay with Phil Garside for the final lap. We haven't covered him for the previous 20 minutes of this race, but I think he deserves to be watched for the final lap for you Phil Garside fans at home. As he comes round, he's got 2/3 of the lap remaining, and then he will take his first victory in the Nxtgen Racing BTC series. He's been on the cusp of this victory for a very long time. He's going to pop that cherry now in R-Factor 2, so he's going to be absolutely ecstatic. He dominated practice, he dominated qualifying, and he led every single lap in race 1 to dominate this race by 5 seconds. Well, 6 seconds. He's going to cross the line. And near enough makes no difference. He is 0.6 of a second a lap faster than everybody on average. So he crosses the line to take his first race victory of the season. Well deserved. Stu Neal holds on to second, just holds on to second. Jamie Dory, does he hold on to second? No. I think he's run out of fuel. He's run out of fuel. Stu Neal has run out of fuel, and now he's getting pushed along by his teammate. He ran out of fuel on the last lap of the last corner. So Stu Neal finishes 3rd, and Jamie Dory finishes 2nd. I cannot believe it. You always put 1 extra lap in for the king. You never, ever, ever run it to the line. I don't think he was expecting. So Stu Neal finishes 3rd. He will not be happy with that. I think he's put the clutch in, and he's coasting the car home. He's absolutely coasting that car home. So, confirmation of your provisional race results. Yeah, they're all pushing each other. Phil Garside takes his first victory of the season. Jamie Dory gets 2nd because Stu Neal ran out of fuel on the final lap of the final corner, or the final corner of the final lap. I can't believe it. He only held on to 3rd. Lloyd Biddulph gets 4th. Alan Axon gets 5th. Benny Norton 6th, Andre Romy 7th, Clough is 8th, Dario is 9th, Andre is 10th. And in 11th is Derek Neal, Rodrigo Portugal is 12th, Alan McCain and Massimo are both DNFs. Absolutely sensational race there for race 1. Cannot believe it. It was Phil Garside was absolutely magnetic through the entirety of the race. He led from start to finish. He had the perfect getaway, which is what he needed to do. He couldn't take any silly chances. He couldn't do anything silly. It looks like the camera's broken. Yeah, so along with the other technical difficulties we've had, the camera is actually not working correctly today, so I don't have the camera, I'm afraid. I don't think I can fix that during the stream. You have to reboot some stuff. So, unfortunately, we won't have the camera from the commentary box. A bit of a shame, but that's how it is. But I do believe I did get some of the replays. So, let's go over to the replays as it stands. So, the commentary box is not working. I do apologise for that at the moment, and I think we've also lost the function. No, we haven't. That's good. Okay, so we have got some functionality. As always, these things are live because we are a live show. We do nothing pre-recorded. We do often end up with issues that happen. There's nothing we can do about them realistically during stream. It is what it is, as they say. Right, we did get some of the opening lap. Let's have a little look. We just need to reset all this back. There we go. Right. So let's have a little look what we got at the moment. And this is the start. So this is the start of race 1. The man we are looking at is this man here. That's Phil Garside. And he just has a perfect start. He's already angled the car directly down here. So he's angled his car at such a way to cut off Stu Neal. And that's what he has to do. He doesn't really have any other option. Because if he does anything differently, Stu Neal is basically going to mug him. Now, the other problem he's got is there's a BMW here. If we just move this on a little bit forward. And you can see he gets perfect. He just times it perfect. Just as they go green. Yeah, and that's that start. There. He starts his car a fractional of a second faster than Stu Neal. And that's what kept him in it. And if we move on, going into turn 1, by that point, Stu Neal here is already going to be down into 3rd position by turn 1. And Phil Garside has done enough to get himself away. He progresses, and there's Stu Neal. He's down in 3rd because realistically, Benny Norton, who's here, we've seen him through the practice sessions. He just doesn't have the consistency that we'd expect. And because he doesn't have that consistency, I wouldn't expect him to hold on to that position for much longer. He doesn't in the end. He actually spins round further up. But by that point, you can see the gap that Phil Garside has. It's absolutely huge. And he just kept going and going and going. Phil Garside had the perfect start. He did exactly what he needed. He ticked all the boxes and he checked himself out. And it was absolutely textbook from him, which was brilliant. I think the only other replay that I got was the tail end of the accident. Yeah. So that's Michael Clough. I think Michael Clough has an accident all by himself. So that's Michael. That's Clough. And he just goes off here. He has an accident all by himself. There he goes off into the kitty litter. Yeah, he has an accident all by himself. And when we come round. And Benny Norton. Yeah, so this is Benny Norton here. He has an accident all by himself as well. So the rear end gets loose. And what you'll see here is that he's going for the apex. That line. But he actually ends up doing this. And then he makes contact with Phil Garside. There's the contact with Phil Garside. I don't think there's anything in that, really. He had an accident all by himself. He made contact. He then spins round, bangs the side of Stu Neal. And, yeah, I don't think there was anything in that. Where's Massimo? So I think Massimo is down here. And he has it coming together again. Again, there's a wider line. But yeah, I don't think there's anything in this whole thing here. I think that's purely a racing incident for me. Even if it gets submitted, it's a nothingness, realistically. He slid it. You know, no one really got knocked out, so it is what it is. And the biggest loser of that was Benny Norton. Everyone else gained from it, so I don't think there was anything really in that. I think it was what it was, to be perfectly honest. And that's all I got. There wasn't anything else really in terms of the drivers. They were all pretty well behaved, which is quite unusual, but they were all very well behaved as it stands at the moment. So we've got 13 drivers back in. There'll probably be another 4 minutes before we go across to the race 2. Now, race 2, for those of you that are joining us, race 2 is based off the finishing positions of race 1. So that means that our man, Phil Garside, will be starting, will inherit pole. But the price he pays is that he will have to take on maximum ballast. So he will have 75 kilos on board. Lloyd Biddulph will now have he will have weight, but he will have a lot less because he's in 4th. So my 50p is on Lloyd. That's where I'd put my money. Lloyd Biddulph, I suspect, will win race 2. Rommy's a little bit closer, but Romy now doesn't have any ballast. So Romy will, I think, have a bit of improvement as well. So, yeah, it's going to be very tricky, I think. It's going to be with only 12, 13 cars, possibly 14, I think it's going to be tricky to see who actually takes this now. But my 50p's on Lloyd.
Attention grid, all non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
That's where I'd put my 50p. I think Lloyd is going to be the one to take that position. That's what I think. But we will see, as they say. So we go into race 2 at the moment, and it will be 13 drivers all ready to play and get on track. As they get themselves lined up. If you're just joining us, this is the it's not the event because I've hit the event. We are at Silverstone for the round 8 of the Nxtgen Btcc Racing Series. We are at Silverstone and all the drivers are getting themselves ready for the start of race 2. They will go around and do a warm-up lap as they set themselves off now. So the starting grid for race 2, on row 1, we have Phil Garside, followed by Jamie Dorey. On row 2, we've got Stu Neal, followed by Lloyd Biddulph. On row 3, we will have Alan Axon and Benny Norton, once again starting on row 3. Andre Romy has got himself up into row 4 with Michael Clough alongside him for company. On row 5, we have Dario with Andre, very good finish for him in 10th. And on row 6, we have Derek Neal with Alan McCain closely following him alongside. And then we have Massimo Boni bringing up the rear of the field. And that's your starting order for race 2. It is a 20-minute race again, and my 50p is on Lloyd. That's where I'd put my 50p. My 50p is going to be on Lloyd. I think he's going to take the victory. He's unballasted. Well, he's not unballasted, but he's got a lot less ballast. And he was mighty fast with 75 kilo on board. So I think he's the driver to beat. Realistically, I think he's going to be the one that has a real opportunity here of basically taking an absolutely sensational victory. Get themselves ready and lined up on the grid. 50p is still with Lloyd. My 50p is with Lloyd for this. Hands down, I think he's going to be the one to take the victory in race 2. Phil Garside, I think, is going to be a very tall order for him. You never know. I've seen stranger things happen. But Phil Garside, again, starting on the far right of your grid. Engine notes will rise and they will get going for the first 20 minutes of race 2, and then we have race 3, which could potentially be a full reverse grid. Here we go, engine notes rise, everyone will get ready, hold on to your horses, and it's lights out and away we go. And Phil Garside has once again had the perfect start that he needs. Jamie Dorey's bogged down, allowing Stu Neal to get ahead of him into turn 1. Does he get it done? Yes, he does. Jamie Dorey just holds on to 3rd. Lloyd Biddulph is alongside of him now, with Alan Axon right behind. Benny Norton holds on to 6th as they all stream through out of turn 1. Who will be leading into the Baggett's corner? Phil Garside's run wide. Stu Neal's gone up the inside. The ballast on board that car is really hurting him. And that's the problem. In the back of the field, you can see the massive melee. Just ahead of that is Michael Clough and Romy side by side. as they come through into the Luffield complex, into Brooklyn, then into Luffield. They're going to have to sort themselves out. They're going to have to get themselves filed in one by one. Oh, a little bit too deep there by Michael Clough. Just manages to get the car stopped. Dario in the bright yellow Honda right behind. You can't miss it. He's absolutely attacking with all of his might. Phil Garside at the moment, he's only 0.2 of a second ahead of Stu Neal, so he's got back ahead of Phil Garside. So Phil Garside is leading again. Michael Clough is ahead. Oh, there's contact between Benny Norton and Clough. Benny Norton's run wide. That's allowed Romy to go side by side with him. Up the inside, they're going to have to give each other room. They are alongside. He thought better of it. He's gone for the old switcheroo here. Romy has done a clever manoeuvre. What he's done is he's braked a little bit, allowing to get a little bit closer, and he's gone side by side now with Benny Norton. And does he get it done? Benny Norton's going to have to go defensive. There you see Alan Axon and Jamie Dory trading positions. So Alan Axon has once again, Jamie's gone backwards. Jamie finished in second, he's down in fifth. That ballast is absolutely killing him. But my odds-on predictions of race victor, Lloyd Biddulph, is now, here is us, makes no difference, less than 0.5 of a second away from leading this race. He's got Stu Neal just ahead of him, and Stu Neal is going to hold him up, I reckon. I think Stu Neal and Phil Garside are working together to try and get as much advantage as possible. They have to, because Lloyd Biddulph, with the less of the weight on there, I think is just going to sail past a lot of them. I think he's just going to get that done. We're riding on board now. There he goes. Lloyd Biddulph is alongside, or he nearly was alongside Stu Neal, but Stu Neal just had better traction coming out the corner, and that'll be the ballast on board. That will be playing a factor here. Lloyd's just biding his time, I reckon. He's just sitting down and holding on to it. Phil Garside there, going a little bit slower. Phil Garside is currently leading. He's in the Honda, don't forget, at the front of your screen. He is slowly but surely holding on to it, trying to get through the corner, trying to do what he can here. And Andre is currently a DNF at the moment. Lloyd Biddulph is looking left, he's looking right. He's less than 0.1 of a second from getting into second position. He has to clear the car ahead, because if he doesn't, he's not going to be able to take the victory. He's gone up the inside there. He's doing all he can. Has he got this done? Yes, he has. He's just got much better traction due to the ballast and the skill of Lloyd. You get the feeling here Lloyd is on for a race victory, but he's got to catch Phil Garside. I don't think Phil is going to be able to do anything special here realistically with the ballast on board. He's going to hold on as much as he can, but you get the feeling he won't hold on long enough. Well, you say that, but Phil Garside is 0.7 of a second ahead. He gains so much in Sector 2. Dario there is once again being hounded by Jamie Dory. Jamie Dory and Michael Clough are all getting in the little bit of the mix here. No, it was the game. The game was having a wobble. We're riding on board now with Andre Romy. He's in 9th position. As it stands at the moment, he's got 8th and 7th just ahead of him. And he's, you see Michael Clough run wide. Michael Clough ran wide coming out of Coppice. That is first all the way down to 9th in the same picture. At the moment, the cork in the bottle is Phil Garside. And as you look, we ride on board with Romy, he can taste the victory here. He's watching everybody. Lloyd Biddulph in second position. Phil Garside's gone defensive. He doesn't need to do that. He's trying to break the toe of the car behind, but it's just costing him time and time and time. He just needs to hold on to it. Michael Clough has gone purple in Sector 2. Cloughie's catching up as well. At the moment, Phil Garside is the cork in the bottle with 15 minutes remaining. He is causing a massive blockade all the way through the field. Lloyd, I think, is just biding his time. Jamie Dory, who started second, don't forget, is now down 3 positions. And he's down in fifth. He's going to be wanting to try, and he had all of the benefit of the ballast, and he's got none of the advantage of it. Alan Axon there's gone defensive. He's the 1, 2, 3, 4th car in the row. Now the second one, he's that yellow number 11 Trip 6 Motorsport car, the yellow on black one. He's gone defensive. Lloyd Biddulph now is all over the back of Phil Garside, but Phil Garside, he's just got much better drive.
he's just been able to hook the car up coming out of Sector 2, which is the only time Lloyd can really attack him. So he's being very clever here at the moment, so Phil Garside could be on for the double. But with 14 minutes remaining, it's all going to come down to tyre degradation. Benny Norton is in the mix as well, and Romy at the back. Those rear-wheel drives are starting to really mix it up now with the front-wheel drives. The question is going to be, are they going to be able to hold on to it? Jamie Dorey sticking his nose out there, sticking it out enough that he goes alongside Alan Axon, leaves him one car's width, he'll keep it in. Michael Clough is right on the rear end, he's the Infinity. Does the rear-wheel drive BMW join the party as well? Alan Axon's lost 1, 2. Does he lose a third position? No. He tries to shut the door, but he's had to leave it open. So he's going to lose another position riding on board now with Benny Norton. He's just managed to not get... Alan Axon has just held that position long enough. He's going to try and stove it up the inside of Michael Clough. Michael Clough is the number ITV car. He will never get it around there. Alan's going to be hung out to dry even more. Does Benny Norton mug him as well? No, he doesn't. Alan shut the door. Solidly closed. Alan Axon is that one, the number 11. T6 Motorsport, TCR car. He shut that door. Phil Garside is still leading by 0.3 of a second. Lloyd Biddulph isn't making any inroads at the minute, so he's holding station at the moment. Romy is staying at the back. There he is in that BMW at the back of your picture. He's holding on to this. Derek Neal is still running round, and Alan McCain as well. Absolutely solid result from those two drivers, still driving the cars around. Jamie Dorey's now on the back of Stu Neal. Is he alongside? He's got to run as we come down the Wellington Straight. The leaders have got to run as well, but Lloyd just can't get a good drive coming out that final corner. Same as Jamie Dorey. As you see there, Benny Norton's gone for a dive on Alan Axon. He didn't think he couldn't get it done, hits the brakes. That's compromised him to Dario in the background. Dario is the T bright yellow Honda in the middle. Boom, there he is. Benny Norton is just better at this section of the race, but he can't get past the car ahead. He's absolutely blockaded. Jamie Dorey, he's going for a manoeuvre here, going into Coppice. He's going to have to take a massive brave pill here if he wants to get this done. There's a little bit of a contact there, a little bit of a contact. Where is Stu Neal? Stu Neal's kept his foot 100% planted into that. Is that an advantage gained? No, I don't think it is. He's no further forward. Alan Axon's run wide. Alan Axon's run wide. Stu Neal's run wide. Stu Neal's going to lose out to Jamie Dorey. Alan Axon's lost out to Dario and to Benny Norton. So you Trip 6 Motorsport fans at home will be raging. He's lost out, but Stu Neal has come back on Jamie Dorey. It's absolutely gone full send here. He's got the job done again. Absolutely sensational there from Stu Neal. The superiority of not having the ballast on board allowed him to brake sooner and react quicker. Dario is now attacking Benny Norton. He's absolutely taken the cones out 100%. Does he get it done? No, he doesn't. Yes, he does. No, he doesn't. Stu Neal's lost out to Jamie Dorey again. It's all kicking off. Dario's at the background. Alan Axon's about to lose out to Romy. Romy is side by side. He's the BMW left side of your screen, number 88. Leaves basically an entire boat room. Good racing from those two. Gets the job done. He's got to go after Dario next. He's got to get it done. The leaders are pretty much stagnated at 0.4 of a second. But the battle for third still rages on. Michael Clough is alongside Stu Neal. Michael Clough should surely get this done. He's lighter, nimbler and less ballast on board. Yeah, he's got it done. Absolutely solid result there. So Michael Clough is now up to fourth. The next target, Jamie Dorey. And Jamie Dorey, don't forget, finished second because Stu Neal ran out of fuel on the final lap. At the final corner of the final lap of race one, so that's really hurt him in these stages. At the moment, Phil Garside still holding on with 0.4 of a second. Stu Neal's coming back there. He's side by side with Benny Norton. He gives it a little bit of a tap. Benny Norton's not going to go around the outside there. And Dario's going to mug the lot of them. Dario and Romy have gone up the inside. Oh, there's contact between the two. Got the job done. We'll have a look at that post-race. That's put Stu Neal back down in 9th position. Oh, is that Romy? Is that Romy? That's Romy's gone off. Romy's had a little bit of a tank slapper. Is he going to recover? I don't think he is. There he is, he's popped back up. But Michael Clough now has got Jamie Dorey. That was only a matter of time. Lloyd Bidoff has closed the gap up, but he doesn't close it up enough. That's the problem. But Lloyd, honestly, at this position doesn't care. Well, he probably does. He probably wants another race victory. But with the final races to go, he's thinking of his championship. That's all he thinks to think about. He doesn't want to do anything silly here. At the moment, if he can put a move on Phil Garside, he'll do it. But he won't put himself in a position where he could potentially get a penalty, potentially get taken out. Because he doesn't need to. He just has to sit there and take the points. That's all he has to do. Now, he is closer. He's 0.3 of a second. But the Honda is just better. Look at it, it's just gapping. And he's now 0.2 of a second. He just can't, at the moment, Lloyd Bidoff just can't close that gap. He just can't get closer. Now it's 8 minutes to go. It's going to all come down to the tyre degradation because of the ballast on board. In the background there, Alan Axon is Benny Norton is hounding the back of Dario. Romy is now caught up to the back of this entire pack. So he's still on here to get himself a good position. Lloyd Bidoff is now alongside Phil Garside. Phil Garside has gone defensive. But has that cost him? And he's run wide. Lloyd has kept it on the track as well. So I get the funny feeling here. Phil Garside is running out of time. He's running out of tyres. Lloyd, having run before at the top end, at the sharp end with maximum ballast on board the car, he knows how that car performs. And he knows when he's got to pick his moments. With 7 minutes remaining of this race, he doesn't need to do anything silly. He doesn't need to do anything stupid. Because Phil, you get the feeling, is running out of tyres and running out of time. Phil will do everything in his power to keep that car stationary in the track. He's taking every single apex as slow as he humanly possible because he has to. And Phil Garside is the man ahead. As we ride on board now with Lloyd, Lloyd now has a much better traction coming out of Woodcote, and he'll get a much better drive into Coppice. The problem is Phil Garside has position on the track. He brakes just a little bit extra than he needs to, and that gives him just that little bit more of drive. And that's what he's got to do now. Phil Garside has to hit every apex, every corner, every braking point, every acceleration point perfectly. He doesn't have to be the fastest car on the track. He just has to be the widest. And Lloyd's got the done here. Lloyd outbraked himself just a little bit. Sorry, Phil Garside outbraked himself just a little bit. Lloyd is now showing up and he's got the job done. And you just got the feeling there that Phil Garside had that done. Darren Rafiti, he's going to mug the side of of Jamie Dorey in the Astra. And Benny Norton, the ballast on board. The ballast on board Jamie Dorey is just hurting the car at the moment. And he's just extracting the maximum he needs to do. Romy's just sat there in 8th position, not really making any progress. I think he's going to be hoping for a race 3 race shuffle. That's what he's going to be hoping for. But we will see. Now, can Michael Clough catch the back of Phil Garside? I don't know. And Benny Norton's going to go past Jamie Dorey as well. That was a done deal. Absolutely done deal. Alan Axon in the background, he's going to run massively wide. Romy's just going to pile it up the inside. He'll go full send and he should get a much better drive. That should be a done deal. Benny Norton's making progress. Yeah, done deal. Romy is now got past has got past Alan Axon. The question is, can he catch the likes of Jamie Dorey? I don't know. Michael Clough is closing the gap lap after lap at the moment. There is Michael Clough. He's currently running on a 59.8. Phil Garside did 1 second. We'll see on this lap the comparable lap times. Dario has the fastest lap on a 58. No, he was only 0.3 of a second. Only a 3 difference a second between the second and third. 1.9 seconds. 4 minutes to go. It will be 6 laps. 6 laps, including this one, which means it'll be close. Striking distance will be in 5 laps if he can get this done. I don't think he can. I think that's going to be a tall order. Benny Norton's making progress as we ride on board now. He's slowly but surely reeling in 4th place man. Less than 5 minutes to go of race 2 tonight of the Nxtgen Btcc series. Dario can't afford to make mistakes like that. He can't afford to be running wide because Benny Norton now has managed to get the bit between the teeth, and that mistake has closed that gap to 0.4 of a second. Michael Clough is still 1.9. Last lap out across the line. We'll see what those differences are, but I don't think there's much in it. 59.8 followed by no. Michael Clough was nearly a 0.2 of a second slower on that final lap. So Phil Garside here could be on for a 2nd place finish. Stu Neal is all the way down in 9th. Rommy's gone off on the road to get himself a McFlurry, I suspect, which is out there. But at the moment, Jamie Dorey is going backwards at the moment, riding on board again with Benny Norton. The man ahead, that is Dario Rafiti. He's in 4th position as it stands at the moment. He's up 5, don't forget. He started near the back of the field, so he's going to be happy with that. The problem is Benny Norton's just driving a much better race at the moment. Those BMWs, they haven't really been managed to extract the maximum that the front wheel drives have had. So I don't know if there's a patch that's gone through, but at the moment, those rear wheel drives do not have an advantage over the front wheel drives. You could be in fact saying that the 20 kilograms on board those BMWs that they have to carry all the times is actually now a huge disadvantage. So it would be interesting to see if that has been a patch. But at the moment, Lloyd Biddulph is 1.6 seconds ahead from Phil Garside, who's 1.9. Michael Clough's 1.3. He's closed the gap a little bit. He's at 1.1. But we'll keep an eye on that as it unfolds. These two are just fighting each other. Benny Norton is on the back of Dario Rafiti as it stands at the moment. That's the one we want, extended battle. So he has closed the gap. The question is he going to go for a move? Romy is also on the back of Jamie Dorey as well. They won't go for this lap, I don't think. I think it will be next lap out. They will try and make a move. Question is it going to be the right move at the right time, or is it going to be the wrong move and they're all going to end up in the kitty litter? That's the problem that we see at the moment. There is Romy riding on board with him now. He is attacking the man ahead. There is Benny Norton. Benny Norton in 5th position. Not that one, not that one, not the yellow one. He's the Pepperami one. He's that one. The question is that man here, is he going to be able to send it up the inside? Romy is going after Jamie Dorey as well. The 2 rear-wheel drive BMWs, highest placed rear-wheel drive cars at this moment. Are they going to be able to send it up the inside? No, he isn't. Jamie Dorey has hugged the apex as close as he dares without ending up in HR. And Romy is right on the rear end there. Romy is the BMW, don't forget, riding on board with him now. He's 2nd in the championship as well to Lloyd Biddulph, race winner. The first half of the season, he was absolutely mighty. The second half of the season, he's been nowhere as it stands at the moment. He's holding on, he's holding on. Michael Clough is alongside Phil Garside. He's 0.4 of a second off. It's going to be 2 laps, including this one that they're on. The question is, will that man there, will Michael Clough get himself into 2nd position? Phil Garside will be happy with the 3rd if he can hold on long enough. At the moment, Lloyd Biddulph is lapping. He's lapping nowhere near quick enough, but it doesn't matter. He's in the lead, and there's no way Michael Clough is going to beat him at this particular moment. Benny Norton in the background is going for a manoeuvre. I don't think he's going to get it. He's going to go tight to the apex. Coming out of Beckett's, the question is he going to get a good line down the Wellington Straight? Romy's also got a good line as well. They're getting this lovely tow from the cars in front as it punches the hole in the air. The question is it going to punch enough of a hole for him to get past as he goes through the long left-hander here of Brooklyn, sorry. A little bit of a twitch there. It's been twitching there all night. Has that allowed him to get the job done? No, it doesn't. It's going to be a one last lap banzai for 1st and 2nd, 3rd and 4th, 5th and 6th. They're all going to have to banzai the moves if they want it done. Lloyd's managed to hold on to the lead by 2.4 seconds. Phil Garside is alongside him at the moment, down in 2nd. Behind that, Michael Clough, near as enough, makes no difference, 0.2 of a second. As you see, Benny Norton's going to try to go around the outside. He's trying to sell Dario a dummy, but he's not going to do that. Dario's going to hug the apex Romy's made a mistake. Romy's made a mistake. He's locked up the brakes. Surely that's allowed Jamie Dory to hang on to that position as best he can. Just enough. Jamie Dory's going to go defensive. He'll allow one manoeuvre. Romy can send it up the inside if he so chooses. He's that close. He can smell that position, but I don't think it's going to be game over. Phil Garside returning to the battle for second position. Lloyd Biddulph will come across and cross the line for another race victory. That's where my 50p was. I thought he was going to take it. I knew he was going to take it, and he does it again. He takes the checkered flag. Will Phil Garside hold on to that position? He crosses the line just enough to hold on to it. Followed by Michael Clough. Dario was being hounded by Benny Norton. Benny Norton holds onto the position. Jamie Dory just holds off Romy. Alan Axon was up in top 5, and he lost 3 positions. But again, solid result for him. Stu Neal manages to finish this one with actual fuel on board. Derek Neal will bring the car home in 10th. Alan McCain, cracking result for him, and his last lap, to give you an idea of how impressive, how much Alan has improved, his last lap, not this one, was a 1 minute 51. His best lap was a 59.884, so he is comparable now to 8th position down to 11th. Andre and Massimo were both DNFs. So, your provisional race results are as follows. Lloyd Biddulph takes another race victory from Phil Garside. Phil Garside held on. Lloyd paid an absolute blinder there, showing his talent, showing his race winging ability. Phil Garside will be super ecstatic with second. Realistically, we never thought he was going to take first. He would have required a miracle to hold on to that. Michael Clough is in 3rd. Dario will be super chuffed with 4th. Benny Norton's in 5th. Jamie Dory, I think the best he could achieve in 6th position with the ballast he had on board. Andre Romy's in 7th. He won't be happy with that, but I think he's just seeing the season out. Alan Axon in 8th. Good result for him. Stu Neal will not be happy with 9th. A solid result for Derek Neal. Top 10 finish for him. Alan McCain, great result for him in 11th. Andre and Massimo are both DNFs. So we have one race remaining from tonight. We need to go across to the Wheel of Spindles. That one. The camera's not working, so I'm very, very sorry. This is done live on stream, so we're going to hit the wheel. 1st to 6th are automatically reversed, and then from 6th to 9th is top 12 are reversed. The top 12 are now reversed, which will be absolutely... it's going to be a very interesting race 3, to put it that way, in terms of where we think they're going to finish. I think one of the big benefits out of that is going to be Jamie Dory. I think Jamie Dory is going to be the huge winner out of that one. But we will see. Again, I'm very sorry that we don't have the camera working, but unfortunately we are live, and it looks like when we had some resetting of the servers, unfortunately we did lose that ability. A bit of a shame, but that's how it is sometime. That's, if you're wondering where it is, the whole thing has now had a massive wobbly. So we will reset the system, and that should get us into where we want to be. There we go. So if you're just joining us, this is round 8 of the Nxtgen Btcc series. We are at the Silverstone track. We are doing the national circuit. It's absolutely great track. We've had some super racing so far. They're going to reset, and then everything will get done, and then we'll go racing for the final 20 minutes tonight in about 5 to 6 minutes. So you've got yourself some time to get yourself a curry or get yourself a Deliveroo. I am not sponsored by those companies. And get out and have a look. But where do I put my 50p? That's going to be a really tough one for me. Where do I put my 50p? Stu Neal. I put my 50p on Stu Neal. Only because he's been he's been mighty fast in qualifying. He was fast in race 2. I wouldn't put it on Phil Garside because he's going to be carrying second place ballast. Lloyd Bidoff is going to be carrying 75 kilo on board. He's going to have a tall order to carve his way through the field. Unless there's a massive accident or a major issue, I can't see him realistically going any further. So it's going to be very, very quick. So yeah, it's going to be tough, I think. We've lost 2 drivers already, so it could be a final. The final race 3 is going to be 11 drivers. But with the 11 drivers that we've got, I'm expecting all 11 drivers to be absolutely nailed to toe. Effectively, it's going to be exciting. Stu Neal is where I put my 50p. I put my 50p on Stu Neal. If Lloyd or Dario's been fast as well, and he's fast in race 3. So, do I think Dario's going to be able to do it? Yeah, I do. I really do. Makes it interesting. Makes it very, very interesting. But Benny Norton's been fast. We have no Romy for race 3, and we have no Massimo at the moment. So, at the moment, we've lost 4 drivers. So it'll be interesting to see how it stacks up in terms of those drivers. Yeah, I put my but Benny Norton's fast. This is the issue. As they all start their engines up, this is the issue we've got. Is where do I put the 50p? Because there are some mighty fast drivers, and Lloyd is rapid. Well, somebody's gone out on track. Alan's out on track, so we'll watch Alan as he goes round. Yeah, I'd put my 50p on. Yeah, I'd put my 50p. I would put my 50p on Stu Neal. That's where I'm putting my 50p. I had to really think about that one. But it's going to be very, very tight, I think, especially at the top end. Right, my mic should be back now. So I've got some intermittent faults on my mic, it looks like, but I am working to resolve that as we go through. Yeah, I'd be putting my 50p, and that's where I'm going to put my 50p. I'm going to put it on Stu Neal. That's where I'm going to put my 50p. I think he has the ability to do this. The problem I'm concerned about is he's going to lack the consistency to do it. Because I've seen him win races before. I've seen his ability to push the boundaries, so I do really, really think he can do it. The problem he's going to have is whether or not he can convert that through the entire race pace, the race distance. And that's the problem. It's that race distance, time and time again, that's really hurt him. Now, we've also got Massimo in as well, and Massimo's fast, so... no, there's no Massimo. Bit of a shame there, because I think Massimo could have done very well. But it is what it is. So let me know on the chat and the stream what your thoughts are, who you think is going to be race 3 winner. Yeah, it's just gonna be tricky, I think. It's gonna be a whole different set of rules and different set of regulations, I think. in terms of what they are. Phil Garside's gone round. There's no safety car at the moment, which is quite good. But we are just waiting for some final drivers, and then we will get going. But yeah, my 50p is I'm leaving it on Stu Neal. I'm leaving it on Stu Neal. I think Lloyd's going to have a hard time. I don't think Phil Garside's going to win it, realistically. I think the ballast on board is going to hurt him. He might get top 5 finish if he gets lucky, but I don't think realistically we're going to see him go any further than what he's done already. But we will see. So as it stands at the moment, if you are just this is the final race of the evening. It's a 20-minute race again. There's only 10 drivers in today at the moment, but it will be a nail-biter. That I can guarantee. So, yeah, Stu Neal I'm going to put on for victory. Because of the way that the reverse order has happened, basically top 12 have reversed, and there's only 10 drivers, so it's a full reverse grid at the moment. Stu Neal is going to start third, but Alan Axon's fast as well. Jamie Dory's fast as well. And they're all going to be different comparisons to do with ballast as well. So that's going to play into the hands as well. So I think Lloyd, with no Romy, Lloyd just needs to finish. He's going to guarantee the top 10 finish. I think he'll finish top 3 easily. He might now possibly even win this with only 10 drivers in. But Phil, you've got to get past Phil Garside. Stu Neal, Alan Axon and Jamie Dory are all very, very fast. Derek Neal and Alan McCain, I think will will just get out the way. I don't think there's going to be anything really different in that at all. I think they'll just move on, realistically. But there we go. So for the final race of this evening, the starting order is on row 1, Alan and Derek Neal. On row 2, we've got Stu Neal starting just behind his father. Followed by Alan Axon. On row 3, we've got Jamie Dory and Benny Norton. On row 4, we've got Dario and Michael Clough. And on row 5, we have Phil Garside and Lloyd Biddulph. And that's how it stacks up our starting order for the final race of the evening. It is a 20-minute race that we will go through. It's about 21 to 22 laps that we will get through tonight. They'll all go through their tyre warming procedures. 50p Stu Neal. 50p's on Stu Neal. That's where I'm putting my 50p, providing he has a good start. And if he does, that's where I put my 50p for race 3 victory. But we will see. As always, let me know your predictions in chat. I can see quite a lot of you watching, but again, quite a lot of you are staying silent, so you might have toned off by now. You can always go back and re-watch the replays at a later date, because they are all on YouTube. Please like and subscribe on our YouTube channels. So the drivers will get themselves ready. They're all going to line up in their grid slots. I need to try and find a good camera angle. Alan McCain and Derek Neal are on first row, Stu Neal, Alan on second row, Jamie and Benny third row, Dario, Michael on fourth row, and Phil and Lloyd on the fifth row. Engine notes rise, everyone get ready, and it's lights out and away we go for the final race of the evening. And Alan Axon has absolutely launched the car from first, and he's going to be leading into turn 1. Absolutely solid result from Stu Neal. Has had a little turnaround by his father. His father gave him a little bit of a love tap at the back, and that's cost him. Phil Garside and Lloyd Biddulph are right at the back of the field. They haven't really made any progress yet, but they've got ballast on board. Oh, there's a slide manoeuvre there from Derek Neal. That's cost him greatly. Down the side he goes, but at the moment, as it stands, Stu Neal is alongside Alan Axon challenging for the lead. Stu Neal here has to get this manoeuvre done if he wants to get into the lead and get gone. It's 3 wide in the background. Alan McCain there being very careful. Derek Neal is sideways as well as they're all squabbling themselves to sort themselves out at the back of the field. 2-way sideways there from Michael Clough. Alan is now at the back of the field. Lloyd Biddulph is right behind him. Phil Garside in all of that. There's massive turnaround and contact there between Dario. We'll try to get that on stream post-race, but the lead battle is absolutely on at the moment. Alan Axon is still leading from Stu Neal. Jamie Dorey is right behind him, and then you've got Phil Garside, followed by Derek Neal. Lloyd Biddulph is stuck down in 8th position, but he's just holding himself off at the moment. Phil Garside going up the inside of Jamie Dorey. That's not going to work with that type of manoeuvre. He's going to keep his foot planted because he doesn't want to lose out to Derek Neal, who's right behind. All the cars are bouncing as they come down the Wellington Straight. Absolutely nose to tail into turn 1. In the background, there's more contact between the 2 ITV cars. That's Derek Neal. He's outbraked himself, so he's gone that way. Same as Alan at the moment. Dario Rafiti is at the back. Lloyd Biddulph is just not making progress. As it stands, Derek Neal is going in the pits. He's going in the pits at the moment. He's probably got a penalty. At the front, Stu Neal is absolutely turning the wick up against Alan Axon. Stu Neal here could take the race victory. You've got Phil Garside in 3rd, Jamie Dorey in 4th, Benny Norton's in 5th, Dario Rafiti's on a DNF, so there's 9 drivers left at the moment through the Beckett's complex here. Needs to keep it nice and tidy onto the Wellington Straight as we ride on board now with Stu Neal. He's absolutely turning the wick up. Unballasted versus some balance on Alan Axon. He has to extract the maximum points if he wants to do it. He's going to go, you're not going to go around there, Sunshine. You've got to be very careful going after Alan Axon on that type of manoeuvre. And Alan just has mighty on the brakes. He's run wide, It's equal machinery as well. Both of them are running the Seat Cupra, which means that there's no real advantage between speed, turning or cornering. It's all down to the driver now and the fuel loads they put on board and the tyre choices that they have taken. That's what's going to really come into play now. Alan's gone defensive. He shouldn't have done that. That's going to cost him time. It allows Stu Neal a much better drive coming out the corner. And you can see already he's gaining and gaining and gaining. He's alongside, but he's not enough. Alan's gone defensive immediately. But he's had to do that because if he didn't, he would lose the position as they come through now down the Wellington Street, riding on board with Jamie Dorey. He's in 4th position, don't forget. He's battling Phil Garside, the man ahead. It is a 4-way battle for the lead. Michael Clough is also battling not Jamie Dorey, the man ahead, that's Benny Norton. He's battling Benny Norton as well in the BMW versus the rear wheel drive. It's all holding stations with just over 15 minutes to go of race 3 of the BTCC Next Gen Racing Series. At the moment, they're all going to be thinking, are they holding station? Are they managing the tyres? How much fuel have they got on board? Where can I find those little bits of advantages? Because they're all kind of at a level now that they're just playing it by ear. Benny, you're not going to go around there, Michael. You're not going to go around going off track. That's just not going to work. He tried to overtake off lead. Benny Norton gave him a little bit of a love tap. That's all love and fair. You can't go off track. All 4 wheels there had exited. You get the feeling here that Benny Norton is going to get mugged at some point. He's in the BMW. Riding on board now with Michael Clough. He's down in 6th position, don't forget. Just ahead of that it is the man, Benny Norton. Has he got it done now? Has he get the car to stop and rotated? He does. He straightens the wheel up just enough to force Benny to hit the brakes. Job done. Nice manoeuvre there from Michael Clough. Ticks the box. Can he go any further? Alan Axon is still holding the lead from Stu Neal at the moment. And Lloyd Biddulph not making progress. So Stu Neal once again is absolutely hounding Alan Axon. You get the feeling here that Stu Neal is just biding his time. He goes off track there. That's not going to work. A little bit of a sim twitch and he's lost that advantage that he just had. He's going to try and set it up the inside. He needs to go wide here. Alan is doing an absolutely stellar job of holding up Stu Neal, but the problem is that these two are having that first and second are holding each other up, which means that third and fourth are now coming into play, which means it's a four-way battle for the lead, when it should have really been a two-way battle. The front two should have worked together to not allow the second and third places to basically close the gap. So, and now riding on board with Phil Garside, he's all the way up to third position, and he is faster than both Neil and Alan on the last lap. He did a 59.233, so he's faster than a lot of them. Stu Neal has gone alongside Alan Axon. Is he going to get the job done? He won't get it round Coppice. He's going to have to go off track. Has he kept it in it? Has he kept this all four wheels? No, he's just extended the track. So he's gained a little bit of an advantage there. A little bit naughty there from Stu Neal, but that's for the stewards to decide, not for me. I'm not a steward. I just do your commentary. But he's gone round, he's taken the position, so he's into the lead he goes. The question is, though, will Alan Axon do the same manoeuvre? Because if he does, Stu Neal can't really argue with him. But Alan Axon's just going to go up the inside. He's just going to send this up the inside. He's going to get the job done. A little bit of a love tap between the two. He leaves him just enough room. Stu Neal sends it up the inside. And that makes contact with Alan Axon. Again, a little bit naughty there from the two drivers, but it is what it is. In the background there, you can see Benny Norton is being attacked by Lloyd Bidoff. Lloyd Bidoff is in the Hyundai. He's on the right side of your screen. Benny Norton is in the BMW, who is now on the right side of your screen. And you can see there, Lloyd Bidoff should get this job done as he goes up the inside into Coppice. Yeah, and he ticks the box. Phil Garside has got past Alan Axon, so Alan Axon now is having his days going from bad to worse. But you get the feeling here, Phil Garside could be on for the double. He could solidly be on for the double here. It's all going to come down to this lap time. Phil Garside being unrestricted and unleashed from the pack behind. That's what Phil Garside now has to do. He has to keep his eyes focused, firmly focused on the road ahead and go after Stu Neal. Because if he doesn't, it's going to cost him, absolutely cost him, hand over fist, oodles and oodles of time. And that's the problem he's got. As we ride on board now with Jamie Dorey, you can see it is a four-way battle for the lead. At the moment, Derek Neal is disqualified and Dario Rafiti is down in the DNF. And Jamie Dorey's going for Alan Axon. He's going to go up the inside of Coppice, and he gets it done. Alan Axon just couldn't defend there. And once again, what we're seeing is the crumbling nature of Alan Axon. And time again, when we get to this stage, about halfway, Alan Axon just seems to have cooked his tyres compared to everybody else. And the other drivers are just finding speed and finding momentum. Stu Neal at the front now is leading by 1.1 second, but Jamie Dorey is now right on the back of Phil Garside. Phil Garside is in second position, the man at the front of your queue in the Honda. It's the Astra behind of Jamie Dorey. Phil Garside's run wide. He's run wide, going out of Woodcote. That's going to compromise him through Luffield. Not Woodcote, from Brooklands. That's going to compromise him out of Luffield and into Woodcote. Now the gap's less than 0.2 of a second as we ride on board with Jamie Dorey. And he's gaining and he's gaining and he's gaining. You get the feeling here that if Jamie Dorey can clear Phil Garside in the next 2 laps, Jamie Dorey is on for a race victory here because he's absolutely mighty compared to everybody else. He's got a much better drive. He's going to have to go around the outside through Maggots. That's not going to help him into Beckett's in any sense of the word, because you can't really go around the outside into Beckett's unless he goes for the old switcheroo. Does he get the job done? He's got all 4 wheels on the road, all 4 wheels pointing in the right direction on his wagon. Jamie Dorey's the 1, 2, 3rd car in the row. You can see Benny Norton is joining the party at the moment. First to 7th are separated by less than 3 seconds. So it is anybody's game at the moment. And that battle is kind of is re-hitting. There's Benny Norton. Right at the back, Lloyd Bidoff hasn't really made progress, because he's now stuck behind Michael Clough as we ride on board Lloyd Bidoff. He's stuck behind Michael Clough. Now, both of these are Trip 6 Motorsport drivers, so in theory they should be helping each other out, but they're not. Right, Jamie Dorey has been as close as he has been for the last couple of laps against Phil Garside. Phil Garside is the man ahead. That is Honda versus Astra, both front-wheel drive. The difference is Phil Garside has a ton of ballast on board. Jamie Dorey has to get this done with less than 10 minutes remaining. He's alongside now. He's going to be turning the wick up, and he's lost out there. He hasn't been able to maximise that ability, and this is slowly bringing Alan Axon back into this battle as well. Alan Axon is slowly but surely going faster than the front 3 cars. Stu Neal hasn't been able to break away. His last lap was a 59.4. Phil Garside and Jamie Dorey are doing 59.3s. They're just faster than Stu Neal, so unless Stu has made a mistake, the gap is now less than a second. As we cross the line, yeah, it's now a second. So Stu Neal needs to start getting a shifty on here, because if he doesn't, Phil Garside is gonna mug him, basically. And I get the feeling that Jamie Dorey and Phil Garside are working together. We saw it before at Brands Hatch, and we saw it at Thruxton. So I think they're both working together at the moment to not slow each other down, to attack Stu Neal. And they need to do that. If they're busy squabbling with each other, they're not going to do it. Benny Norton's now on the back of Lloyd Biddulph as well. Lloyd Biddulph is on side by side with Michael Clough. I think this is the old switcheroo going through. There's contact between the two drivers. There's contact between Lloyd and Michael Clough. Lloyd gets the job done. Benny's going to try and go around the outside of Clough. That's not going to work, but he can go for the old switcheroos. Coming out of Woodcote, the question is he going to do it? I don't think he is. Jamie Dorey is much closer now. He's right on the rear end of Phil Garside. Phil Garside there just gets closer. He just gives a little bit more of a break than he needs to. He's run wide. This is it. This surely is now for Jamie Dorey. He's less than 1/10 of a second from the car ahead. Surely he can get this done. He's got to go round the outside, do the old switcheroo, and bring the car into the corner and just keep going and going and going, because Phil Garside will go defensive. We've seen him do this corner after corner, lap after lap. His only saving grace is that Stu Neal hasn't really got away now. He's actually closer, that they're all closing up to Stu Neal. Alan McCain at the back there at the moment. He's running around in 8th position, doing a solid job in the 1 minute seconds. But they're all now nose to tail, effectively, from 1st to 4th. The question is, who's going to win this? It's 7 minutes to go. It'll be 8 laps, including this one that they're on. The question is, are they going to be able to get this past? Are they going to be able to hold on to this? Are they going to be able to not end up in a massive accident? Because that is a massive possibility at the moment. Phil Garside is all over. Well, he's not all over. He's alongside Stu Neal. So Phil Garside is going to go for the race victory. He gets the car stopped and rotate. He's now got to close that door to Stu Neal, because Stu Neal is going to have less ballast on board that car. Phil Garside has gone defensive. He's allowed one defensive mood. And there you can see Alan Axon has joined the party as well. Stu Neal has lost. He's gone from 1st to 4th in less than 2 corners. I can't believe it. He was where I put my 50p. Has he cooked the tyres again? Has he let Phil Garside take the victory? I don't know. He's gone in the pit. He's gone in the pits. He's gone in the pits. Why has he gone in the pits? Well, he's gone in the pits. So unless he's serving a drive-through penalty, or he's stopped, or he's retiring, that's now gifted Lloyd into 4th, so he's going to absolutely love that. No, Stu Neal's in the pits. He's in the pits. I think he's serving a drive-through penalty. He'll be absolutely livid of that. Jamie Dorey has a real opportunity to take a race victory. The battle for the lead is now on. It's been on all for the entire of the race, but it's now even more on than it was before. The question is Jamie Dorey going to take this? Jamie Dorey's in 2nd. Alan Axon now. It is a 3-way battle for the lead. Who do we want to win? Who do we want to be able to take that position? It is 1st, 2nd and 3rd separated by less than 1 second. Alan Axon is at the back of the grid at the moment. He was leading the race momentarily, but then he got down to 3rd. Then he went to 4th. Now he's back to 3rd. The question is, can he hold on to this long enough? Can he push the 2 drivers ahead for him to get himself into a top 1st finish? There's Stu Neal coming out of the track. He's going to come out into a massive gaggle of cars. He's got to be careful, and I think he's now got DNF. So he's just retired. I think he had a disqualification coming out the pits. Phil Garside, it gets the feeling, Phil Garside is the car ahead. He is the driver at the front of your queue, of that queue of 6 cars. You get the feeling here, he's just not going to be able to hold on to it. You get the feeling that he's just not got enough time and enough tyres and enough traction left. Jamie Dorey has been hounding him corner after corner, lap after lap. Alan Axon, he's the bright yellow car as we ride on board with him now. He has been at the back of this party for the entirety of the race, and he's just hoping that maybe they make a mistake, maybe they fall over each other, maybe they get tangled, and then he can come in and strike himself out. Less than 4 minutes remaining. That's 4 laps, including this one. That will then be race over. And Phil Garside's run wide. Phil Garside's run wide. This is it for Jamie Dorey. He has to take one hell of a brave pill here. He's got to get done because Phil Garside is going to pop it perfectly on the apex. He gets the car stopped, gets the car rotated. Jamie Dorey has to keep his foot planted. Alan Axon is going to follow him through. You get the feeling Jamie Dorey's done this now. He's just ahead, or hair's whisker ahead at the moment. But Phil Garside is... Now he's lost the position. He's lost it. He didn't have the drive, that 75 kilo on board. Did not help him. Alan Axon making a little bit of a mistake there. You get the feeling you don't want to be the driver at the front. You do not want to be the driver at the front because it's compromising your race pace at the moment. That's the problem they've got. That's the challenge they have. As you see, Alan Axon in third. Lloyd Bidoff at the moment. He is catching fastest lap, 59.082. He's 0.4 of a second a lap faster at the moment. So he will close up to this gap in 3 laps. But he won't close up quick enough, I don't think. I think Jamie Dorey's going to check himself out the front. At the back, Benny Norton is closing now onto the back of Lloyd Bidoff. Benny Norton's in 5th position, don't forget, and Lloyd Bidoff is in 4th. Lloyd Bidoff is championship leader, and I get the feeling he's going to be the championship winner by the end of this race. I don't think there's enough points in the world that are going to mean that Romy's going to be able to catch him in the final race of the season. The final 3 races of the season, but we will see. Through into Brooklands they go, and then into Luffield. At the moment, they're all holding stations. They're all just biding their time, I think. Jamie Dorey at the front. He's just being very, very careful. He wants to get the race win. He's 0.4 of a second up, nearly 0.5 of a second up as well. He's benefiting as well from that poor race 2 in terms of the ballast. So he's going to really want to think about that. And think about that opportunity, and think about whether or not he wants to really push on this final, on this penultimate lap, because he realistically wants to cross with about a minute to go. As it stands at the moment, 7 cars still remaining. Alan McCain is still going at the back. Absolutely solid result for him, and he hasn't been lapped, which is absolutely sensational. He's 35 seconds off. He's running around on his own, but he's getting quicker. He's doing 1 minute laps, which is all you could ask. Benny Norton did get past Lloyd Bidoff while we were looking at Alan McCain at the moment. But yeah, so Lloyd Bidoff is back down into 5th position. He's going to challenge Benny Norton. He's going to go side by side as they come out of Luffield. He's got to be very careful into Woodcote, because this is going to be over a 90-mile-an-hour corner as we get to Coppice. Jamie Dorey should be on his final lap of the race. The question is he going to hold on to this? Is that man there going to take his first race victory this time out in the BTCC Next Gen Racing Series? It will be 3 different winners this time out at Silverstone National Park. The question is he going to do it? He's got less than half a lap to go. Onto the Wellington Straight he goes, keeping an eye on him. I know he'll be ecstatic about this, because he's been wanting this for a very, very long time. He's been knocking on the door of victory, same as Alan Axon, but it wasn't to be Alan's night today. Is it going to be Jamie's? He's got 16 seconds. Now, the question is he going to cross the line before the counter runs out, or is he going to have to go 1 lap more? He's got 8 seconds to go. He's currently 3, 2 and 1. He should cross the line just enough to take his first race victory. What a stellar result from him. Phil Garside brings the car home in second. Alan Axon is third. Benny Norton is third. Lloyd Biddulph is fifth. He might be unhappy with that, but he extends his championship lead, so he doesn't care. Michael Clough is in sixth. Alan McCain is going to bring the car home in a solid 7th position. His lap times have been absolutely stellar, and he's just been cursed by the commentator. Sorry there, Alan. He's been cursed by the commentator just as I've gone round, as he crosses the line for his final lap. But he hasn't been lapped. There was no lap, which is absolutely great result from him. And his lap time is getting faster and faster. So I'd expect him to be fighting towards the end of the middle of next season if he rejoins us. And that's it for your final race of the evening. So these is provisional race results as always. Jamie Dorey takes his first race victory of the season, followed by Phil Garside. A great result for those two. Alan Axon in third. He will be super chuffed with that. Benny Norton's fourth. Lloyd Biddulph is fifth. Michael Clough is sixth. Alan McCain is seventh. And then we've got a DNF for Stu, Dario and Derek Neal. And that's how it stacks up for your race for this evening. I don't have, unfortunately, anyone the commentary box. All of that system's completely gone at the moment, so I do apologise for that. But what an absolutely fantastic set of races we had. I will leave it there for this evening, just because I don't have it. As I always say, there are always multiple camera angles and multiple views, so we don't get to see them all. Please like, share and subscribe for the channel. I will be back same time, same place next week for the final race of the season, the final 3 races of the season actually, and enjoy the rest of your evenings. Good night.